Alrighty then. Let's see what we got here. Oh, sorry guys, I didn't mean to scare you. All right. What's going on this evening, guys, ladies and gents? Renee, what's happening? What's going on? Dr. Spock and Crocs. Hi, Chris. What's going on, brother? Good to see you in there. Natro, what's happening? Good evening to you. Val, good to see you in there. Good evening to you. Well, which I'm sure you're in the States. You may not be. But good to see you in there. Power Play in 1979. Hey, Chris, what's going on? Robert, good evening. Liam Stewart Brown, evening, Chris. What's happening? Nacho, been looking forward to this all week. Michael Stark, what's up, Chris? What's going on, Michael? Rachel, hey. What's going on? Make sure this is set here. All right. I think we're good here. Test. Test. Yeah, we're good. Oh, we good. Stream seems to be doing well. Edward, Chris, you're awesome. I don't know about awesome, but I'm trying. Libby Terrell, what's going on? Renee, what's new in the extraterrestrial aliens and UFOs world? Any current news and events? Well, a little bit. We got a little bit to talk about. Not a whole lot, but a little bit here and there. Not to mention all the great questions and comments you guys have. Rachel, yes, I am doing well. Thank you. John Beck, appreciate it, sir. Appreciate your support. Your videos rock, you said. Well, I appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. And like I said, guys, and everybody loved it, the last stream last week. Because why? Just having a good old time, man. Just having a great time talking with each other, throwing ideas around, talking about, questions you guys ask. And, like I said, to me, it's like everybody, it's like a learning curve for everybody, right? So that's what we get to do. We get to toss around ideas, share some space news with you guys, which I typically want to do. Gives you guys something to maybe investigate or research yourselves, right? So I throw that at you guys once in a while. At least try to do a little bit every, weekend hangout. So, yeah. And by the way, Rachel, I hope I think you said you were making a dinner for your mom. I hope that turned out well. Yeah, I'm sure it did. Hi, Chris, and all the subs. I won't say much, but always listen and learning. Dave, that's all that matters, man. You're in here. Like I said, I would be doing the same thing, just chilling, even if you're not saying a whole lot. Appreciate you being here, man. And again, John Beck, appreciate you. Hatchet Man said, hell yeah, John. Storm Area 51, they're still doing that, huh? That's too funny. I wouldn't mind just going there just to check it out. I've seen a lot of videos where people have gone there, and of course they have the security comes down and tells you to move if you're in a spot you shouldn't be in. That would be pretty interesting. Libby Terrell, you said just watch your Ryugu video. Great stuff. Yeah, I thought you guys would find it interesting when you talk about Banu as well as Ryugu. It just makes you wonder. It's like, why are these things are the same shape? They just happen to be almost, well, not so much the same elliptical, but, they're still in an elliptical orbit around our sun, still in our solar system. Got some weird characteristics about them. Yeah, so you do these comparisons too, not just so much just on Ryugu, but you look at the Banu asteroid as well. Kind of funky how they just happen to be going after those particular, objects, and they just happen to be in our solar system, right? If they're in an elliptical, how are they a danger to Earth? Unless, of course, they believe that they're going to get close to our orbit at some point in the years to come. But, I don't think that's going to be an issue. They may be just using that as an excuse so they can go to these things and investigate them. Okay, so what difference is it going to make, even if you go to them? Are you going to plan on steering them a different way? I mean, yeah, I don't think that, I don't see how they get from let's investigate it to it's going to crash into Earth if it's in its own orbit, unless, like I said, because of in the coming years. But going there isn't going to change their trajectory, right, over the course of years. So what's the deal, right? Uh, Michael Stocky put on there, I've been burning pics all week, everything from LRO to Apollo to my own 4K scope shots. 100% moon has active structures. Well, yeah. Oh, I'm not surprised because I've seen things myself in a lot of Apollo missions, LROs, and stuff like that, where you can really pick these things out and where they've actually manipulated and obfuscated them. And you could see this structure right there. Just, you know, um, yeah, it's good that you guys are doing that kind of stuff. Just taking it on yourself, researching it, throwing it to Photoshop or whatever it is you have to enhance your photos. And that's it, man. Pull them apart. That's what it's all about. Yeah, is that the one they're talking about? Let me see if I can find that one here. No, that's the I don't know if you're talking about that one. It says 2,100 feet. Um, yeah, it's about 2,100 foot asteroid. I think that's the one you're talking about, William, right? Hardy. Um, Phil, you asked, hey, Chris, did you get a chance to look at the Mars pic I emailed you a few weeks ago? I did. I actually have that in the computer, Phil. So I'm going to check that a little bit more in depth. I'm trying to put all of these in a row and get these out for you guys. It's been a busy week. This is the reason why I try to still squeeze in that other one today, that video, and then give you guys a reminder about the Hangout. But yeah, definitely, I got it, and I'll be looking it over a little bit more myself. Robert Morgan, yeah, security will shoot you if you cross the no-go line. They don't play around. They just recently killed a man. Well, you know what? It says right on their signs they have the right to use the force, so they will use force against you. Why would you take the chance? Unless, of course, you have a death wish, right? So it simply makes no sense. The dollar guy you put on there, Ryugu, that is a wheel with a fender at 1701. Okay, you're talking about timestamp 17. Fork assembly swings. I read your comment. That's pretty interesting. I'll have to take another look at that. The dollar guy. I'll have to check that out a little bit more because I didn't notice that, to be truthful with you. Renee, you put on a hello, Chris. Latest video, nice. Good job. Hello, everyone. Good luck with the Hangout, Chris. Everyone, I go for a sleep, 6 o'clock, work, watch it tomorrow. Bye-bye. Okay. All right. Appreciate you stopping in there, Renee. Van Oosterhoort. Appreciate you stopping in. Wave my hand at you. 1010 Craig 1010. You put on there, Chris. Have you heard David Icke talk about Mars, Saturn, and the Moon? If so, what do you think? I haven't heard any of his recent shows, but I know back in the day, I've watched a couple of them. One thing I'm not really a big fan about is he talks about how there's like lizard people and all this other stuff. Not that they could not be. It's the way he conveys it. It just sounds really weird, like reptilian people. I'm not so sure I believe that, but that doesn't mean it's not true. And I'm trying to remember who it was that did a show on him one time. Jesse the Bot of Ventura. You guys ever see that one where they actually interviewed him? And he basically called him out. And, of course, David Icke just kind of, oh, that's it. I'm had it. I'm out and everything else. So, because he was asking him genuine questions about what he asked or what he said in his show or what he likes to convey to people. And, of course, David got all bent out of shape and walked away. But I'm not a big fan of the reptilian, theory type thing. Like I said, not to, you have to keep an open mind to a certain degree, right? So I'm not saying that it couldn't be, because if there's different gases, different, living conditions, we're going to use the term, on different planets, then they'll differ from us, right? So it makes sense that would be like that. But now I'm not sure if that's true or not, right? Bush Corey, you put on there, you think these asteroids could be used like a host for intelligent life to just travel about on like a camouflage attack? I think so. I mean, two things come to my mind when I see that. One, somebody's either taken some kind of weird craft or some kind of structure and attached itself to it and then let it go about its, just kind of ride piggyback, right? Or the item itself sticking out is just part of something much larger. This is the reason why when I showed you the obfuscation and how you can see like these white objects behind the blurring and obfuscation. So it tells me there's much more to that rock than what they're telling us. It's not just an asteroid. At least in my opinion, it's not. Some people may say differ, and that's fine with me too. I don't just by the objects I'm seeing on that thing, come on. I mean, I'm looking at that thing and I'm just going, there's no way that that thing's completely natural or it's natural at all. Now, some people had said, well, how do we know it's not just natural? And somehow they burrowed into it or whatever, dug into it and made a some kind of spacecraft or observation craft or something like that. Very good possibility. I mean, it's absolutely, it could very well be. Let's see. Paul De Silva, good evening or day, Chris, and all chat room. Amy L, you put on there, hey, I don't usually catch you on live. Now you have changed the times. I'm able to watch live, not just catch up. Absolutely love your work. My favorite channel by far. Keep up the good work. Well, I appreciate the kind words, and Amy, I appreciate that. And like I said, we try to do our best here to, find the truth, right? Are we always correct? Do we always know what these objects are? No. And even if we did, let's say we seen a blatant structure right there. The problem is we can't really still vet it, right? Because we see it. Now, some people will say, well, you think it was planted there by like NASA or something to give people the wrong idea. I don't think so, because going out of their way to actually hide a lot of things, why would they put it there, right? But in some of the things that they've done, it would not surprise me, right? It's hard to tell what they do. Suzanne Ann, a good Monday morning from me, or for me, rather. Well, yeah, you must be almost halfway around the world then. Good to have you in there. Rachel, you put on the end the top. What's the topic of today? Well, we got a couple things actually. We're just talking about. I think it was Hatchet Man. He just asked about that. I think it was Hatchet Man asked about that large asteroid that they're talking about may skim Earth, right? It says NASA monitoring 2,100-foot asteroid on track to skim Earth. And of course, it says the huge asteroid that's more than twice as big as the Empire State Building is set to skim Earth in 3 weeks. Now, get that. This one here is a lot bigger. And, well, it'll go by us a lot sooner. And this was on August 20th, by the way, of this year. The monster space rocket is called 467317, and then it says it says 2000 QW7, and it will be whizzing past us at 14,361 miles per hour on September 14th. No, that does not mean pack your crap and move to the moon or go in a frenzy. A lot of people like to be these fear-mongering channels. Oh, well, we're all going to die. Not going to happen. Because here's the thing. There is no need to panic, though an asteroid should only come, should only come within 3.3 million miles of Earth. Yeah, there's a slight chance it's not going to hit us, guys. It has an estimated diameter of anywhere from 3,120 feet to, 3,100 to 1.13 miles. Yeah, okay, 1.3 miles. New York City's Empire State Building is 1,454 feet high at its tip. In fact, if the space rock was a building on Earth, it would be the second tallest on the globe. So yeah, I don't think I'd sweat it, guys. Like I said, don't panic and like try to move to another planet or anything right away. And if you can, let me know how you do it. But just in case. Mr. Wayne, hi y'all. What's going on? Good to have you in there. Oh, Renee, you put Storm Area 51 turned into an alien stock featuring, September 19 to 22nd, Little Alien, a motel, campgrounds, bands playing, and with Arby's and Budweiser food and big trucks. But last I heard, they were adding more food and drink. Well, I mean, it's just a reason to basically have basically a tailgate party, right? Which is nothing wrong with that. As long as people don't start doing something stupid, like really actually trying to storm it, then you might have a problem, right? Nacho, you're right about that. You said, Rachel, no specific topic, just what comes around, like birthday dinners. Absolutely. Love birthday feast. Oh yeah, no doubt about that. It's a good way to put a couple LBs on and then You have to walk from here to Nebraska just to burn it off, right? Is that right, Renee? In Scotland, they're having an event called Storm Loch Ness, September 21st. You're kidding, right? Deeper look. You said, are there places on Mars that never see sunlight, like the craters at the South Pole of the moon where we might find frozen water? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's going to be areas that you're not going to get any. It's kind of like, obviously the deeper the crater, then it's going to be shadowed, right? So, and of course, it's in a higher region, lower region, meaning the caps, and good chance there's going to be a lot of frozen water there. Now they have, um, if you've done any research on Mars itself, they say that these caps come and go with the seasons, just like here on Earth. And they thought at one point it was carbon ice, which I thought was BS. And I thought, okay, I mean, there is an actual water cycle on Mars. They've actually admitted that now. I've been saying that for years by the research between the clouds in the sky, the temperature it gets around some of the areas, especially in Gale crater. It's no surprise that these guys are down next to the equatorial region. There's a reason, right? Well, where's the hottest part on Earth most of the time? Equatorial region. So it makes most sense to land there and see if there's any life there, so on and so forth, or if there was. And these ice caps, they come back every season, just like here on Earth. Meaning winter seasons, they start to build up, and then of course they melt off and everything else. Water's got to be going somewhere, right? So yeah, but there's a lot of areas, I'm sure there's some of these deep craters or just valleys, right, in between these mountains or whatever. I'm sure it's frozen, and they found a lot of frozen water. In fact, they found like a lake of water underneath, and I think it was near the South Pole. It was they radar detected it, and it has to be at least a foot depth for the radar to actually see any kind of water under the ground. And apparently it did. And it's supposed to be like almost a mile wide, but it's only a little over a foot deep, meaning the actual cavern. So pretty wild stuff. Yeah, there's plenty of water on that planet. William Hardy, do you think we will have disclosure in 2022 when we return to the moon? The only way I can think that they would, now this is, and I don't even think this would even happen, but let's suppose for a moment you got these private space companies wanting to take people, Virgin Galactic, all these people wanting to take people out into the lower atmosphere and then come back down. It's supposed to be, in fact, they were supposed to have one where you paid, I think it was like $100,000, and it's about a 6-minute trip. You basically come up, you go in the lower atmosphere, and then drop back down, and that's your trip, right? So let's fast forward to the future where you can actually go to the moon, right? You can bet you can't bring any recording devices. You can't bring this. You can't bring that. And of course, they'll probably have the windows closed. You won't be able to see anything outside until you get to a certain area where they don't mind you seeing the area or the lunar surface. So something tells me they're going to keep it hush no matter what. Now, the only way I can see that would happen is if somebody snuck a camera on there somehow and, recorded this or whatever. Other than that, I don't know. I mean, to me, it seems like whistleblowers are going to be the first one to bring this stuff out. And who knows, maybe somebody high in NASA or another space agency will blow the whistle, right? And just say, man, enough is enough, man. These people are, I think it's unfair to the public. I think they should do it. And this is the reason why something like that would come out, right? Now I tried pizza myself, man. Not homemade, but I did have some pizza myself. Good stuff. The thing that jumped up on me here. Let me go ahead and make this a little bit bigger too. Let me see here. There we go. That's a little better. Hatcherman, you put on the latest video you did on Mars, Chris. I can't stop looking at the sky. It looks like a mountain range that has been whitewashed, or it's some really cool cloud cover. Now, believe it or not, it is actually a mountain range. That's supposed to be the inside crater wall of Gale Crater, right? At least that's the way they say it is. I don't believe it because it looks so CGI'd. I think this is what I think is going on. I think they have a template, and what they do is, they want to, let's say there's a bunch of items. Let's say you get the flat ground and there's a bunch of items that are standing up in the background. Well, they just simply take this template and drop it on top of any information they want to hide. It's the reason why it looks so CGI'd all the time. It doesn't look, I mean, be honest, it doesn't look natural at all. And then people say, well, no, because it's off in the distance. So therefore you get that kind of weird haze. Okay, that's true. That could happen, right? But not the way I'm seeing it. The way that thing looks, it's always CGI'd. Anytime you see something of Mount Shop or something in the background, it always looks CGI'd. It tells me that, at least it seems to me, that when you see the flat ground and you see anything on there, then you see in the background, there might be something much larger there. And they're just dropping this thing right on top. You can't see anything. So therefore, works out for them, right? That's what I think. But I believe those are the mountains. Those are not cloud cover. I know a lot of you guys had said that you believe that it looked like cloud cover. Now, there are clouds on Mars. There's no doubt. They've got cirrus clouds and stuff like that. So that's not like, it's not out of the question. But that particular photo is the actual crater wall. At least that's the way they're trying to say it is, right? Alien Tenno, you put on the I'm in Chester, UK, and the moon has been in place in the sky. It shouldn't be. I mean, way out of position. Yeah, I've noticed that too, man. And even here, it's like, where you would expect to see it, it's just not there. It's just real bizarre stuff. Now, I'm not saying there's anything freaky going on with the moon, but it just seems a little weird that you go out and you go, where the hell did the moon go? It's one thing you have, like, blue moon or just a new moon or whatever it may be. You go, okay, well, and then you don't see it for like X amount of days. You're going, okay, what's going on, right? Yeah. Renee, you put in there, what if they see a dinosaur monster, behemoth or leviathan in Scotland today? They would be rad and awesome. Yeah, it'd probably freak everybody out there too. I can only imagine what that would be like. Okay, you 1010 Cray, you're saying to Tommy, just went outside Edinburgh and cannot take the heat just now. Actually, for us, at least it's cooled down a bit. It's like only 82 here now. I mean, last week was horrendous. It was like 100 degrees. So we've been 90 plus for a good part of the summer. So it's been pretty smoking out here. Morning's nice. Get out and I'll do a quick, 3-4 mile walk in the morning. It's nice. If I don't do that, I do it in the evening when it's cooler. So pretty sweet. Zap of 750 Elon nuking Mars? Sake, man. Well, here's the thing. Somebody had said this, and it's pretty good that you guys said this, because one of you guys had said something about they're probably trying to get rid of more of the proof that there was intelligent life there, right? And what better way to do it? Just kind of like decimate the whole area, just completely, turn into complete rubble. And like I said, this is nothing more than them trying to terraform the actual planet. That's all they're trying to kickstart the atmosphere somehow. But to me, it seems like if there's anything alive on that planet, you're going to pretty much, phase that out. So I don't see that making any sense at all. And so I'd be kind of curious, unless they're trying to do it way up in another area where they don't, where they're at right now compared to where they're at, rather. And plus, we got another one going back. Is it 2020? So next year, we got another rover going up. And so I don't think they're going to be doing it anywhere in the area where they're going to have the rovers and stuff like that. So I'd be curious to see how that's going to be played out. Rachel, great question. Why can't we throw away rockets and nuclear rockets and replace the propulsion with electromagnetic propulsion crafts like the technology exists? And it's probably faster. You're right. I mean, they actually have ion drive now. Of course, they're not very powerful engines, but they do have them. And it seems to me they could do both. In other words, you can have like more of a hybrid rocket, right? Have your regular normal fuel, gets it up out of the atmosphere. And once it's out, shut itself off. And then just go ion, to wherever the hell you're going, right? Whatever part of the solar system or exosolar system. In fact, they had one of the probes go out and it was ion drive. And it would make more sense to me. I mean, but they're always constantly thinking about it. trying to, hey, how can we get to Mars faster? How can we build a better craft? How can we? And they'll do it. I guarantee, and I can almost guarantee they already have it. They've already done it. They've been there, done that. Um, it's just, how would we know? Again, it had to be leaked out or something, right? At least that's my opinion. But you're right about that. I think they can do much more, use better drives, and I think they have. Yeah, you're right about that, Phil. Yeah, on some of the sol images, you can see water seepage on some of the slopes. Absolutely, and there's still, yeah, you can still see it's all wet coming down in between rocks and stuff like that. So this is what I always thought was amazing. If you look at some of them, and I believe it was Opportunity, and you could see it was on a slope. You could see this crater wall, and it was inside the crater, and you could see this water coming down. Okay, why don't we ever get to see what's on the other side of that crater wall? Is it possible it's seeping through the wall, and that's what we're seeing? That's what I'd be curious about, but you never see that. You only see just what's coming down the wall, right? I think there's much more water on there than they're claiming, to be honest with you. Yeah, exactly, Suzanne. And yeah, wow, which means life is there, is water, bacteria, etc. Well, I mean, NASA always claims, well, it doesn't necessarily mean life. Oh, come on. Usually, where there's water, 99.9%, there's going to be life somewhere, somehow, even if it's microbial, right? I think everybody can agree to that. Now they're saying, well, we don't think there's any kind of other life forms other than that. Now, if the planet was formed before Earth, and it was the sun was in different temperature or size or whatever the case was millions of years ago, then you can bet it was a thriving planet, like they do claim. They do say it was like Earth. Then I think there was and is still life on that planet. Yeah, Paul, that's what Elon was wanting. He's pressing the idea of literally nuking Mars, and to me, that just makes no sense. Again, I understand the terraforming thing; they want to do this, but like I said, is it possible? When Dr. John Brandenburg seen this years ago, 1941, I think that's when that event took place. I think they did it a long time ago. They're thinking, let's get it prepared for later on. Because think about it, you don't have to do a manned mission to go bomb a planet, right? Let's just go ahead and now, of course, this is pure speculation, guys. You know that, but think about this: 1941. The year is now. How many years is that? You're talking 80 years ago, whatever it was, roughly, give or take. And you go, okay, so it'd be enough time for it to settle down, and then we can make our move on it. So how do we know? So is it possible it's already been terraformed and it's been growing and stuff like that since then? We don't know. Just a theory, just a thought. That's right, guys. Smash that like button and wham. Well, Tommy, you put on there. I wonder who Elon Musk is working for and what he really knows. Well, he's working hand in hand with NASA. So there you go, right? And I would think he would have the inside skinny, if you know what I mean, if he's working with him and he's actually partners with him and all this other stuff. So it makes perfect sense that they're going to give him the information too. Think about it. If he's saying, hey, listen, I'll let you use my rockets and everything, but guys, come on, show me the real deal. What's up there? You know what I mean? And he's even claimed or said that he wants to die on Mars. So why? Unless there's something of any value to see. Think about it. Nobody's going to say, gee, I'd really like to go to Mars, a nice dead planet. Can't wait for that. I'm going to step out and just die instantly. Nobody's going to do that. So there's got to be something that he's seen or heard about that he's just thinking, man, I'd love to be able to go there at that point and, oh my God, and see these things before I die. Think about it. Yeah, you're right about that, Zappa. Yeah, 750. A while back, they wanted to nuke Ganymede and other moons. Yeah, I mean, it's almost like they're trying to see maybe what might be under the surface. Think about it. If they don't see anything, maybe they get like these little hints of life, but they're saying, well, wait a minute, maybe because of the conditions of the planet, maybe they're living underground. Why don't we go ahead and strike the planet and see what happens? And it may nothing be more than just scientific, right? Research. Like once a plume comes out, you get a spacecraft that basically sniffs the air and be able to tell what comes out of there, whether it's hydrogen, water molecules, whatever it may be. It doesn't really matter. The point is that they're just like they did with the moon. They had them two was a sister crafts where one was the nuclear warhead on it. It bombed the moon, and then the 1 second behind it sniffed all the basically the ejector that came off the moon. Right, basically sniffed it before it hit the moon. So it's in the same way, and it's no different. And I think that's why a lot of the times they'll be doing stuff like that. Ricardo Leporis, you put on there anything at the base of the crater seems strange to me. What do you think about that? I think there's a lot of strange things near there, near the base of it. And I think, again, it's a template. Like you see a lot of these, the ones with Mount Sharp themselves, they're always just placed right there. You always see Mount Sharp, and people go, "Well, you should because they're actually at the base of it." That's true, but when you look at this thing, it should have been already on top of this. They were supposed to land about a mile and a half from the absolute base of Mount Sharp. Travel along the side of it, just like just go horizontal with it. Just travel along the base of it, and then go up. And it was supposed to be a total of 10 miles total. And yet they're not even there. At least they're trying to make their way up the mountain now. I'm kind of curious. And every time you see these things now, it just seems like it's getting more and more blurrier. You get photo degradation. It just looks like crap. And what I find interesting is they're still in a lot of same spots they've been in for past year or two. Haven't made any progression. Or is it because they found something there and they're just looking it over and they're staying in that one area? I don't know. It's hard to tell. Deeper look. Why did Elon really send a Tesla to Mars, and where is it at? Supposedly off course, but a billionaire would have some hidden reason to send a car to Mars. Yeah, I mean, they could be just a PR move just to show people, hey, look, I'm going to just send my own car there. The hell with it, just for shits and giggles, right? On the other side of the token, how do we know it's not loaded with all kinds of cameras? Maybe it's its own space probe. Think about that. Because it does seem a little weird just to send a car out there, just launch it, see what happens. Well, we already know we can launch things out in space, so what's the big deal, right? So it makes you wonder, how do we know that thing's not full of cameras and all kinds of instruments on board it? It's just disguised as a car. How do we know? Maybe it wasn't planned to go to Mars at the beginning. Maybe it was just to go fly right by it and keep going. How do we know? Hard to tell. Alien Tenno, yeah, you put on the. I still see that haunting debriefing of Apollo 11 crew. Man, Neil Armstrong was pissed as hell. Oh, yeah. They were all pissed and disgusted and didn't want to be there at all. Chems, guys, what's up, buddy? What's going on? Good to see you in there. No, it's round here, geezer, man. Trust me. Am I safe to be a round earther here? Or are we called globe head? No, no. My earth is round. It's not flat. And I think everybody here will agree with that. Yeah, we don't believe in that flat earth crap. There's probably life in the methane oceans of Titan and the subsurface water oceans of Enceladus and Europa. Absolutely. And, this is the reason why these guys are going to these moons, man. I mean, they're just thinking there's a good probability of life there. And that's what they're hoping. Because here's the thing, too. What would happen if you found these methane oceans full of life? Wouldn't that be like, you know what I mean? Because, I'm not sure. I've never done any research to see if they ever, tried to see if there's any kind of living organisms, stuff like that, with some kind of methane mixed with water, and see if anything could live in it, so on and so forth. I don't know if anybody else has seen that, but yeah, I'd be curious, because think about it. If they actually found that, then life could exist anywhere. Think about it. So, and if they get that confirmation, you could bet they're going to say, oh yeah, life is all around us. Guarantee it. Right now there's a mannequin in a car orbiting Mars. At least that's what he says. Now, like I said, I'm just wondering if it wasn't his own way, think about this a minute. If it was his own way to send his own probe and get to see his own the stuff for himself right off the bat. Maybe this camera's pointing down and he's taking all kinds of pictures and it's just for him himself. How do we know? He's doing a lot for NASA, with his spacecraft supplying to the ISS, so on and so forth. So, yeah, he's going to get the inside scoop. Come on. I'd be surprised if he didn't. Actually, man, sorry, everyone. I work in a Highline body shop, and we work on a lot of Tesla's cars are pieces of junk. Yeah, unless of course they're disguised as a spacecraft, then that may be different. But yeah, a lot of I mean, it's sad because I love anything technological. I love stuff like that. I'm basically a geek at heart, and I've seen a lot of these videos where the people say, "Man, the workmanship sucks on these things. They're just not put together well." So on and so forth. It's basically the performance as opposed to the aesthetics that appeals to most people, right? I personally like them. Now, I don't think I'd want to have to worry about that thing when it does finally break down. And you're like, oh, okay. But it is what it is. I mean, you can always, if battery dies, you can always get a used one, so on and so forth. But I think the more technology you have in a car and you don't have the dollar bill to fix everything that goes wrong with it, you may be in a world of hurt later on in the years, right? That's the reason why a lot of people dump cars at what? 30, 40,000, 50,000. Colin, Johan, you put on there to Edward, you put on there. However, I still think it was partly faked, and I know he's talking about the Apollo mission. I mean, most of the footage is obviously BS. Yeah, I think that again, that was another PR move where they just had. I believe they went. I believe that they didn't show the real deal, what they really were actually looking at. Right. In other words, they had real footage. They were literally showing it. But I think what they did is they aired that on TV while they were actually doing something much different. So this could have been filmed in a studio, and then they're actually doing something totally different at that same time that they were there airing this. How do we know? And because I mean, just from the stuff I've seen on these moon photos, and a lot of these where these astronauts are taking pictures of what looks like a flat area, and clearly it's not flat. I think they were absolutely there. As far as I'm concerned. Now, other people believe otherwise, but that's fine. I don't think that's the case. I think it's real. And I think some of it was faked as far as the footage. I think you're right. Yeah, this thing just jumped up on me. If I'm forgetting anybody or your comments, just write them again. Because this thing, every time I just move it down, just scroll down a little bit. A lot of times the whole darn thing just goes flying right up. So I don't mean to miss anybody. If I did, just go ahead and rewrite it. Graham Coward, G3B16, rate your vids, and my dad, we're fans of your work. Awesome. Good to hear. Hello from the UK. What's going on, Pat? Oh, yeah, James. Yeah, you're right. Loved it when Buzz gave that kid a punch when he was called a coward. That kid thought he was a reporter. Yeah, I know. You see the way he kept badgering him, right? So he just said, "You know what? I'm just get away from me." He kept saying, and he just could try to walk away from him, and then bam, you know what I mean? Renee, then it's not fair. Flat Earthers got their own emoji. Sorry to hear that. Sabbath's a real Elon in the car. Good one. I think the real truth would be held by very few people. I don't think that very many people have clapped eyes on real photos of Mars. I think NASA is so full of bull. It's not funny anymore. And I agree with you. Photography, light and magic. I totally agree with you. I think I think again, it's kind of like the moon photos. If we seen the real thing, and by the way, I was going to say this earlier when we were talking about how on Mars it looks like the mountain like Mount Sharp is like this, what looks like a template that they throw over things they don't want you to see that might be standing up. They've been doing that on the moon. How many times you guys seen one of those? They had two different moon photos, and they had the same exact mountains in two different photos, and they were almost like the same exact angle. In other words, they didn't change angle like they were in a different spot. They literally were the same one. Why? To me, they're templates, and they've been doing that since the moon landings, and I think that's what they've been doing all along, even on Mars. Nothing's changed. Same thing, maybe different technology to produce these things, but as far as the way they go about it and what they're trying and how they hide it, that's the way they're doing it. Tom hey, love the channel. You do great work. I appreciate the kind words, man. John Murray, hi, Chris. The UK, Liverpool. What's going on? You were right about that, Zappa. The kid was smug, too. Yeah, he got his mug smashed a little bit, too, didn't he? Tom Durang, you put on there a stupid question. Nothing's ever stupid there, Tom. Question's a question, right? Is it possible to catch the same signal, rather, and get the same pitch as NASA does before their edit? I highly doubt it. I don't think that's going to be the case. It's going to be well encrypted. You can almost bet on it. And I think that even the rover itself probably has like this weird little algorithm where it could take a photo, and if it sees anything of any like whether it be squares, circles, any kind of shapes like that, it automatically blocks them out. Maybe encrypts that part of the photo and then gets sent. So in just in case it can be actually intercepted, it gets down to Earth. It goes through a process through their computers, which basically breaks it down, or we're going to use the term descrambles it, right? And then boom, then they see the real picture. And then of course, they get all the information from the photo, and then they send it on to their CGI department, and then they take care of it. And it's not, a lot of people just think it's a joke. They go, why the hell would they CGI this stuff? They have a CGI department, man. And what do you think? They're just doing there to play games? They're there to block out stuff you're not supposed to see. Look this stuff up. Like I said, some years back, they laid off 250 CGI people. Laid off 250 CGI. How many people got working there? Makes you wonder. But I think it'd be almost impossible to actually, even if you could intercept it, I don't think you'd be able to do anything with it. It'd be totally scrambled out, and you wouldn't be able to do anything with it. Yeah, the guy was telling Buzz we never went to the moon, so Buzz tried to knock some sense into him. Yeah, he did. Stumbled him, made him step back a few paces, didn't it? Yeah, did you see the latest one, Zapper, on the Indian satellite orbiting Mars? Yeah. The just take that photo and throw it in Photoshop, watch what happens. Yeah, it's a lot more like Earth than you think. When a satellite is closer to or orbiting Mars, you're going to see a lot better colors than you will see from afar, because let's say there's only small patches of green area. When I say small patches, it's probably huge, but that's because you're right there orbiting. But if you were to go way back, you're going to see a lot more red than you are going to see the green, because it's small patches of green, right? So, but when you go up to that planet, you can see greens, blues, and you can see a blue atmosphere to boot. Check out the latest photos and put it in Photoshop. Even if you were to do auto correct, meaning auto tone, auto contrast, auto color, watch what happens. Yeah. Scott Johnstone, Fook, yeah. Edwin, I'm not sure what you mean. Hey, Chris, what's your opinion on the AST? Oh, this thing jumped again. Hold on. Let me go back. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, but will you put on there with you pointing out the blotching, whitening of the original photos? Don't you feel you're making NASA feel awkward? No, I don't think in the least bit, because like I said, I think they're just using channels like myself. There's other channels doing this too, of course. We're just pawns. I mean, I've always said it seems like it's slow disclosure, and that they're just letting this stuff come out. They don't have to admit it themselves. Just let it come out. So like someday it does come out. again, people won't be totally shocked, although I think a lot of people would be. They'll be like, "Oh, they can just be, see, I said so." So, yeah, I think they're using it more like a slow disclosure than anything, and they're probably just saying, "No, no, let's let them do their thing, man." So, yeah, pretty funky. I don't know how all the symptoms are there. Very strange to think the sun is behind everything. Well, that's a good possibility, Zappa. Renee, you put on there Giza. Flat Earth sucks, but Hollow Earth is interesting. And you know what? I don't think Hollow Earth is too far fetched if you really think about it, right, guys? Think about it. There's all kinds of caverns that people explore all the time, right? How do we know they're not super large ones that you can almost put a city in? I mean, how do we know? I mean, they found caverns that are huge. I mean, absolutely huge in the Amazon jungle. Found them in different parts of the world. I mean, these guys are like on these ropes and they're lowering themselves. They look like little gnats coming into these things. They might be old volcanoes that have grown now with life and so on and so forth. And or just cavernous areas. They're absolutely huge. I mean, it's insane how big these areas are. So it would not surprise me if there's areas in the earth that are super huge. You can literally stick a city in there. It would not surprise me. Edward, you put on the air, Chris. What do you think about the asteroid Uma? I think they used to call it Uma, whatever. I think it could be an alien probe. Well, a lot of scientists were baffled by that thing. They were like, just cigar shaped craft. Well, not craft, but rock coming through our solar system, and how it just went around and just slung back out of the solar system. It could very well be. How do we know? This thing could be just actually disguised as some rock, and we would know. Or it was just nothing more simply than a rock, right? It could very well been just tumbling end to end, just going through the solar system and back out it went. Um, how do we know? But everybody's baffled by that because they're like, well, we usually don't see rocks like that, but that doesn't mean it can't be, right? If a planet blew apart millions of years ago and it's just a very large flat rock, that was interesting. Uh, that rock, no doubt. Yeah, Carl, you said, yeah, basically the same thing I'm saying. Probably encrypted beyond belief. Um, don't think they can be intercepted. Like I said, even if you could receive it, I don't think you could do anything with it. Unless of course you had the same exact decrypting equipment, so you can actually get that right. Robert Morgan, you put out, there's plenty of evidence of humanity on Earth of lost civilizations in the fossil and archaeology rather, uh, and other credible records of at least 330 million years or 1.5 billion years ago. Truth. And that's true. Because, like I said before, I mean, you go back to, like I said, first, well, that ancient civilization was only 4,000 years old. Man was only 6,000 years old, whatever. Now it's like, man is like, I think last I read was like half a million years old and beyond that. So every time we dig, we find something new and it sets us back more and more years. Goes back. And again, I don't think we know. I think we're like I said, we're just children learning how to walk and crawl, or crawl and walk, right? It'd be pretty bad if you walked in and started crawl. But when you see this, you go, okay, so these scientists are looking out, going, oh wow, I never knew that. So that theory goes out the window, whatever it was, whether it be age of man himself, intelligent man, and it just keeps going back more and more years, millions of years, or thousands of years. Come on, I don't think we really know. Miguel, hiya Chris, watching from Spain. Good to have you in there, man. I imagine it's pretty late or early over there for you guys. Oh, let me see. Let me find this real quick for you guys. Nacho just sent me a link. Let me see. Get it up here. Go ahead and log that there. I don't know if I've seen this before. Filmed Hollow Earth. I want to drop the link for you guys. You guys can check it out. There you go. Maud Piat, you put on there, just got done watching your last video. Very weird rock, to say the least. Yeah, there's a couple weird things on there. Now, it's just some of the details in that last one that was set on top of it. Yeah, that I find it hard to believe that's just a rock or some kind of bulge off the top of that thing, right? No, I don't believe that's true. That thing looks more than you can. It just looks so intelligently made that it's not even funny. The other ones, you could probably be passed off as a rock the way it looks. Now, the second one was had these weird features, what looked like these little appendages coming down, and that didn't look natural to me either. Nor did the first one, what they try to hide the hell out of. And as you can see, these white things behind the blurs and stuff, and I did my best to bring that stuff out. I don't think any one of those things or items are natural in those photos. I don't believe they are. By the way, Nacho, thank you for sending that link. Like I said, I dropped it so everybody can take a look at it. And it was supposed to be by, I think you said, a Russian satellite. In case you didn't get in there, get the link in here. Yeah. Trippy Figueroa, Mars in the house. Hi guys, what's going on? Good to have you in there. No, I haven't, Chris. Christine, you put on there, hey, did you ever find the article on the artificial Chinese moon? No, I don't think I found it yet. Trying to remember why they were actually putting that together, though. Wasn't it? Trying to remember if that was some kind of, what the heck were they going to use that thing for? I remember hearing about it, but no, I haven't. Dallas, Texas in the house. Shout out to Brooks Agnew. Hi, Henry in Dallas. William Hardy, yeah, you put on Saturn's moon. What do you think about them? Very anomalous. Yeah, I mean, see, this is what I'm saying. I mean, we see some of these photos, right? And we go, wow, we can just see some crazy things on it. Imagine what NASA, ESA, all these other space agencies, when they're sending out probes, can you imagine what they're seeing? Non-fooled with photos, just boom, straight from the camera. And just, right there, they're just probably going, oh my God, they just can't imagine, what they're seeing in the photos. It's just like, what the hell? It's just crazy. Holly Noel, hunt for life on Mars too. Well, I mean, if you just look at the photos, a lot of people don't believe any of the stuff, and they just go, you know what I mean? Well, I don't know. Research the photos. That's what I always encourage people to do. Take the photos yourself, especially in the videos I show. I always give the links, whether it's moon, like the one I just did last. I gave you all kinds of links. I think there's like 8 links to that between the asteroid Ryugu as well as Bennu, the Wikipedia page, so you can compare size, densities, all that other good stuff, ellipticals, whatever it may be. And I encourage everybody to take it themselves, and if they got their own software to investigate the photos, then do that. Make your own decisions. Don't take my word as gospel. I always tell people that, find the stuff yourself. And a lot of you guys have been doing that. And kudos to you guys for doing that. I always say that, because I don't just say, oh, this is it. Boom. This is eternal. This is it. What I say goes. No. We're all here to learn. Holly, you put on there, this thing just jumped on me. I think there's life all over Mars. I see actual critters on the rocks. And you're not the first one to see this, Holly. There's a lot of people actually see that. I don't specifically see that. Some people see like little people, what looks like little creatures and stuff. Not me. I see more mechanical and I see more structural than anything else. But that's because I'm setting my eyes to find that as opposed to looking for that. Now, some people I know, like Martine Graney on the Facebook page, she sees a lot of like statues, what look like people. They look like they were just like died that way in a certain position, like Pompeii. Because she's got good eyes to look for that particular stuff. I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for structural, mechanical, any of that sort. So maybe that's why I don't see it, right? Whoop. Let's see. What do you guys think about that repeated signals coming to Earth from another galaxy? Scientists say. What do you guys think of that? Um, I think that's crazy, man. When you start to see this stuff, I'll drop you guys the link there. Now, this is from the Independent. This is and sometimes I'm like, I'm not a big fan of these kind of pages, but um, it says numerous repeated signals are being sent through the universe to Earth. Scientists say. Researchers have detected 8 repeating blasts of energy or fast radio bursts, which they call FRBs, that have been picked up by Earth's telescope, which is basically radio telescopes, right? Um, Scientists found the first FRB in 2007 and have found dozens since, but they have only confirmed 2 that repeat. Now, to me, and I could be wrong on this, um, it's how do we know? Here's the weird question. Now, they believe some of it's because of planetary, right? Maybe a planet got destroyed by a black hole or collisions in the universe. Makes absolute sense. Now, what about these signals that keep repeating? And if they're the same exact signal or the way the signal is being sent, right? How do we know that we're only getting, are we getting the whole signal at all? How do we know it's not like, I don't know how many of you guys are familiar with the technology in cordless phones, right? But they started off at like 900 megahertz. Actually, they were like at 44 to 49 megahertz. Then they went to 900 megahertz. Then they went to, let's see, 2.4, 5.8, 6 gig, stuff like that. But a lot of people are not familiar with the DSS part of them, which is the digital spread spectrum. Now, what that means is if you're on the phone, you could be talking, but this thing will hop frequencies. So I want you to envision these alien people, well, if it is in fact radio signals from an alien civilization, how do we know that they're not sending them in that kind of spectrum? So in other words, they're sending here, boom, we see that burst. Wait a minute, it doesn't make sense. It's only like partial. It doesn't make any sense. But what happens if they're sending it in different frequencies and we're just not picking them all up? How do we know? So that's pretty interesting in itself. I've been hearing about this stuff for a while, and it's just crazy. Now, they do believe most of it is probably, like I said, planetary, whatever, maybe collisions, stuff like that. But they also say that it may be from alien civilizations, which I'm really kind of puzzled that they'd even say that. Let me see if I can find that part where they say this. Repeating FRBs are so valuable because they offer researchers the opportunity to predict where they might come from and study them in more detail. As such, discovering 8 more repeating bursts could provide huge value to the researchers who are attempting to find where the bursts are coming from. So that in itself is pretty cool. The source could be surprisingly close. The researchers suggest that one of the bursts could be coming from a galaxy that neighbors own Milky Way, though caution that further work will need to be done to discover more about the burst. So, I mean, it's pretty cool. I mean, I'll drop this link as well. You guys can check it out. But how do we know they're not sending it in different frequencies and different bandwidths? And so this way here, they could find it with ease. But I don't know if that's going to be too long of a... Yep. It's too long. All right. The address is just too long for this thing. That's what it's saying. You only get like 200 characters, and it's 260 to send it. But anyway, you can look up at the Independent, and it's called Repeated Signals Coming to Earth from Another Galaxy, scientists say. So you can check it out. You can Google it or whatever and find it. So... Uh, 250 Saber. Good to see you there, man. Chris, there are people on Mars. Too many photos prove it. And I agree. I mean, I've seen this stuff that a lot of people show, and they actually do look like mini people, like small people on there. Hard to tell what it is. Again, I don't look for it, so therefore I don't find them, right? Along with like Holly said about the little critters or whatever. I'm not eyeballing those to find it. So there you go, right? Yeah. Not true. You put on the mainstream media telling about the signals goes well hand in hand with government opening up about UFOs. Seems like we're all being prepared for disclosure. And that's what I'm saying. It's like you get these little puzzle pieces, just put them together. And what does it come out to? Slow disclosure, as far as I'm concerned. Now it might come sooner than we think. They're just trying to put it all together. Okay, throw that at them about the signals. Now about the UFOs. Now about this. And just keep throwing it out. Persona non grata, you put on there what type of signal and what frequency sources, please. I'm not sure. I mean, I try to give you guys a page, like I said, just put on there, put independent on Google, and then put on there repeated signals coming to Earth. I try to put on there. It's too many characters for me to drop this in the box, so I can't do it. You only get 200 characters per message, and it's 260, so doesn't help at all, right? Let me see if I can't. No, it's just way too darn long. Anyway, it's called Repeated Signals Coming to Earth from Another Galaxy, scientists say. You want to look that up, you may find it. And but it says 2 days ago, 47 comments. Wish I could drop this thing to you guys. I can't. To try and understand their source, scientists have searched for more bursts and looked to understand them in better detail when they come. Repeating bursts are likely to be key to that, since they can be examined so much more clarity. In addition to the 2 confirmed bursts, other researchers have reported 2 or more that are yet to have been published in peer-reviewed journals, which is the proper way to do it, right? You got to peer review these things, anything that's scientific, and this way here they come out with a consensus about what they believe it may be. Now, are they going to be always right? Probably not. The new discovery, therefore, triples the number that have been found and could lead to much more detailed research on them, on where they are coming from. So, yeah, just Google that. Again, I can't drop this thing. I wish I could. It kind of pisses me off, to be honest with you. But there you go. Ian, you put on there, you and real Jimmy Roberts do pretty damn good work. He obviously has a different style, still good no matter what. Well, yeah, I mean, what I like about Jimmy, like I said, he just tells it like it is. Now, he'll tell you right out. I think one of his videos was Mars is a giant anomalous thing, right? It's basically, when you look at most of the stuff you see in these photos, right? It just seems to me that they're not going to have the rover just take random photos. It's like, how much money is put behind this thing. Now, keep in mind, when that rover touched down in 2012, they have 2 CPUs on board, right? One of them took a dump in a short amount of time. They've got 1 computer board, 1 main board that they're running off of. That thing could take a dump at any given time, right? So they're not going to waste their time and just, let's take a couple snapshots here, kind of like they're on vacation, right? Yeah, we're in Paris. Let's just take a couple pictures here, a couple here. They're not doing that. They're literally taking photos of things that mean the most to them, the most research that they can do. So, when you see a photo that they're taking, you can almost bet there's something in that photo that would give it away. And most people say, oh, this guy, he sees something in every photo. Well, yeah, because most likely, I'm not saying all the time, I'm saying most likely there's probably something in that photo that's being hidden from you or from the public themselves, right? So it would make sense, if they're taking that photo for a reason, it's not just a random rock. Oh, look, there's a bunch of boulders. Let's take a photo of that. They're not doing that. There's got to be more to it than that they're doing. And like I said, they're not going to spend billions of dollars to go up there and see just rocks. They already know they're just rocks, right? And just a dry planet. Yeah. You're right, Renee, about the wow signal that SETI received. Yep. I mean, like I said, they're starting to come in. They're starting to see it more. Now, SETI, if you've ever seen their setup, they have like multiple receivers. They can receive from like one frequency to another. And so they're monitoring all these frequencies all at once. And of course, they have to turn this dish. Well, not turn the dish, because if you go by, if you look at Arecibo, it's just basically the actual, well, they used to call it an LNB on a regular dish, which is no low noise block. And they would just move this thing around on the top of this concave dish in the ground. So they just move it to a different position, which changes the receive of that dish. So, and of course, SETI's got other areas that they receive from. They got actual dishes that move, and they get like a whole bunch of them, and they just point them in, and it makes it like one giant dish with all of them together, right? So you got to understand that these guys, they're not looking through this, they're looking at the skies for no darn reason. They're saying, hey, if we're here, there's a good chance there's other people out there or other beings, right? And you can bet that they've found these things. They're just not going to say anything. I mean, some of them are saying, yeah, we're finding these wow signals. And wasn't there one, too, that was years back where they said they found or they heard what looked like a cry for help in one of these signals. I don't know how true that was, but that's what I'm like, what? So they think it might have been some dying civilization. Of course, they never heard another thing from it again. But I don't believe that unless I heard it, right? That's the way I look at it. But that doesn't mean it wasn't true, right? It wasn't real. Let me see if that works. If it does, you guys are golden. Oh, there you go. Yeah, that one's working. I'll have to use a little shorter address to get it in there. So Chris Chapman, he just put it on there. Just go up a little bit from the bottom here and just go up and you'll see the address. I made sure everybody could see it, and you can see it HTTPS and www.independent.co.uk. So guys, have a look at it. It's just up a little bit from the bottom here, and you'll see Chris Chapman had posted that. So I made sure everybody could see it because I had to actually okay it. Why, I don't know, but whatever. Christy, you put on there, they are not coming back for God Holy, Gold, Holy, Holly, rather. They are coming back for their leaders. They left here to infiltrate. Well, anything's possible, I guess, right? Yeah, you're probably right there, Holly. The aliens knew about us when we started to send TV signals. They probably saw I Love Lucy and other TV shows that made us aware of us, made them aware of us, or not. Well, if you're transmitting to me now, I don't think it's like if you ever tried to have anything like whether you were into old CBs back in the day, walkie talkies, whatever. They only go so far, and it's the same thing. They say that radio waves go out for X amount of distance, right? Well, if you don't have a powerful enough receiver, you never receive them, right? This is the reason why they're trying to make bigger and a lot better radio telescopes, right? To maximize their receive. So you can bet that we're not hearing nearly what is really out there. And this is the reason why they're searching. They're just constantly searching. They want to find out. And I believe that. I strongly believe that. I think it's out there, and I think those radio bursts, if they're not any collision with another planet, or it's not been some kind of black holes ripped one apart or whatever else. If it's not that, and it is alien in nature, I believe that it's just maybe we're not getting the whole signal. Like I said, maybe it's on a spread spectrum kind of thing where it's frequency hopping. So you only get bits and pieces of that, and they're not getting the whole thing. How do you figure out which ones they're on? So you're only getting a piece of it. And that was the whole idea behind that on the cordless phones, because a lot of people could use scanners and they can listen to your conversation. Well, if it hot frequencies, you're only going to get like bits and pieces of the conversation. You'll never get the whole conversation. So makes sense, right? They need to research right here and on the moon. Absolutely, Holly. And you can bet they've done a bunch of it, right? Guarantee it. Guarantee it. And again, we're on a need to know basis. So there you go, right? Ah, what's up, cuz? Good to see you in there. Misheard. Uh, the moon is loaded with structures. Absolutely. I found a lot of stuff myself, just in the LRO photos. Edward, do you put on there, Chris, the aliens could be a race that lived on Earth but had a massive war and left for us to evolve, and they interfere when it's needed? That's a good possibility. I believe, like I said, at one point that we had life both here and on Mars. And like I said, we might have been going back and forth. And then all of a sudden, Mars got hit, or either they warred with themselves or somebody else, other beings. It totally, blasted away any kind of life or just about any life on Mars. And we, either we were there living there and then jumped to Earth from Mars, or we were like, the planets were actually, living at the same time. In other words, we had people on both planets, and that one just took a hit. And this is the reason why we're the only people here now, right? I mean, of course, these are just speculation, but you just look up the definition of panspermia. Check that one out. And it's basically, molecules could have came, or these microscopic life could have been, once that planet on Mars got blasted, and of course you get all kinds of debris come under the atmosphere, makes its way to Earth, and of course life started here. Basically, in a nutshell. So yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. You said had a CB and a Star Sweeper, and it was great. Yeah, I was running an Antron 305. Dave made linear, pumping out about 1,000 watts PEP, and ran everything from President Lincoln radio to had an ICOM 706 Mark II, all kinds of stuff. Yeah, so I had a bunch of stuff myself back in the day. Paul, you put on there, Chris. What are your thoughts about crop circles such as the one that appears rather to be in response to the plaque we sent out on Pioneer? Well, yeah, I mean is that the one that has the alien? He's actually holding what looks like a globe or Earth. If that's the one, that thing's really intricate, because when I seen some of these things, they're kind of plain Jane, nothing special, right? Then you see these things, you just go, wow. Some of these things are so intricate that it just doesn't make sense that somebody could remember that back in the day they were faking those. Seeing the guy with this rope, and it looked like a swing. Basically, he put his just had the string, he had it with both hands, and just kind of stomped it into the ground to make this circle. And they did that just to get everybody off the beaten path, so to speak, right? What they did was they did that so people go, oh, it was faked. Okay, we're good. Kind of like the moon videos. Show everybody that's fake. You'll never believe a thing NASA says, and they can just keep on doing what they're doing. It's like a reverse psychology thing, right? At least that's what I think. But yeah, if it's the one I'm thinking about, yeah, that one there was very intricate, showing, like I said, an alien would look like a planet, and I think they deciphered that message and everything. Oh, this thing jumped up. Man, I hate that. Chris Chapman, you put on a ham radio. Good stuff. Oh, absolutely. I still got a Yaesu. I got you right here. It's a FT 7100. Used a business band part of it. Good stuff. Randall Tufts. Hello. N8QZG. The bandwagon is ready for all our cosmonaut travelers. Rachel, good comment. Ever think the only reason why grays have big eyes, or big black eyes rather, is because they have a sun that's expanded to the point of collapsing and turning to a dwarf star, so they have to a black thing on their eyes. That could very well be. Well, that's what they're saying is supposed to happen in this sun, our own star too, right? Supposed to actually get bigger and bigger, swallow basically all of the planets in the solar system. Of course, none of us will be around to see that. Thank God for that. But yeah, it's a very good possibility. Could very well be. Zappa, he said, I have a rare pre-Space 1999 episode on my channel for any fans. I'm a big fan of Space 1999 and back in the day. They're supposed to revive that. I know they're supposed to put it like 2099 or something like that. Used to love that show, man. And of course, if you remember, the very first episode is called Breakaway, when they basically on the moon, had their own moon base. And of course, they had a nuclear explosion on it. It was so large that it literally sent out the moon off. It propelled it out in space, and of course, that's how all of their adventures happen and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. I'll have to check that out. Hatchet Man, I'm not sure off the top of my head. You put on there, Chris. I haven't looked up yet, but do we know where the new rover is going to land? It seemed to me it's not very far from the one we have now, and I'm not talking about like 2 miles. I'm saying it's a good distance away, but it's not super far away, right? And there's a good reason for it. I did see it exactly where it's supposed to be, and I just don't remember off the top of my head. So my apologies for that. But definitely, it's. I think if you look at it, it shows on the map too. It shows like the current Curiosity, and then of course the 2020. I think it's to the west of it. I could be wrong, but I believe it's on the west of it. And I just don't exactly remember what crater or what area they're supposed to be landing that thing in. Mr. Sparkle Bay, Chris, bro, you need to check out my latest upload, man. A UFO orb. Oh, good stuff. Drop the link here. We'll check it out. I have seen them with my own eyes. They are ugly. I haven't seen one yet, at least not myself. I mean, I've seen, photos and stuff like that and what look like, you see some of these videos that look like it's supposed to be an actual alien and stuff like that. Some of them, if they're real, are creepy looking. Well, I guess I'm not the only one that loves Space 99. Phil Cox with daughters Jessica and Kelsey Brown. Oh, absolutely. That stuff was cutting edge, man. Remember, I had Maya. She could change into different. She could morph into different animals and stuff like that. Pretty cool stuff. Commander Koenig, all of these guys, pretty good stuff. Miss Heard, you put on your Space 1999 was my fave too. That, of course, I'm a Trekkie, at least the older stuff. The anything like that was stuff to watch, at least for me anyway. Zappa 750, I seen an orange egg shaped orb with my daughter. Yeah, a lot of people claim to see them things, man. I mean, it makes you wonder what these things are, right? Are they, is it like spiritual type thing? Is it an actual energy orb, meaning some kind of alien type thing? I mean, it'd be interesting to find out, I mean, what these things really are, right? What beyond James Kirk, James T. Kirk. Yep. What do you think of the face that they just found in Antarctica? Really incredible, if not Photoshop. I don't know, Bobby. I haven't seen that. Anybody else seen that? Pretty wild. Holly put on there, they are so good at hiding in plain sight, like a chameleon. They can match themselves to the surroundings. Yeah, I mean, you're talking about are you talking about the beings or the little critters type things on Mars? A lot of people claim that. And I've seen people do photos and bring these things out, and they do. They literally almost match the background of them. So, uh, yeah, crazy. Popster, much appreciated doing it earlier for the Brits. No problem, man. I know I got a lot of requests from you guys. Man, it's just so darn late. I can't stay up. I got to work the next day. And you know what? I feel you guys. I mean, it's like, it's only fair to just try to do it early so everybody can get in on it, right? That's what it's all about. Like the Brits have. That's pretty funny. And then, would you say Baggers hours? I think you said it jumped up on me, so forgive me for that. Libby Terrell, yay, Star Trek. Yep. Deep Space Nine, as Holly said. Thank you, Miss Hurd. Appreciate that. Thank you for the support. Love your work, Chris. Great stuff. Well, again, I appreciate that, cuz. Kenneth Lee put not Photoshop, so I assume you're talking about that one about the face in Antarctica. The beings I find when I watch ghost hunts, I have clear pictures of those grays, big ones and small ones. Well, like I said, if those things, can you imagine waking up and seeing one of those darn things, man? It would scare the hell out of anybody. What was that way back in the day? They had, was it in the 80s? I think it was in the 80s. They had those three guys. What was it? They had made a movie out of it. I think it was Fire in the Sky. Trying to remember what the heck his name was. But anyway, that was a freaky movie. When they took him up, and of course, they had him on this weird skin type thing over him, and they were like, cutting him open and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. I think it was Travis something or other. I don't remember his last name. But they literally gave him, they put him on, just checked him to see if he was telling the truth. And of course, I think he passed flying colors. Pops, I think 60% of your subs are outside USA rather. I don't know. We got quite a bit here and got a lot of you fine folks here as well. So maybe it's in the middle, right? Either way, glad to have you guys no matter what. What was that other thing here? I don't know if you guys actually seen this too. NASA wants to launch a spacecraft from Vandenberg Air Force Base and smash it into an asteroid. Now, they don't mean immediately. They just mean that they want to use that as a weapon in case we have something very large come towards Earth. And they're going to use it to kind of blast it out of there. I think they got much more than that too. Yeah, this one's too long too. Sucks. Yeah, it's not going to allow me to do that. Okay. But yeah, I mean, they're just saying that they'll use that in defense of the planet, right? They're just going to use this thing. I guess it has a warhead on it and just slam it right into it and be done with it. So yeah, crazy. Yeah, I have to check that out. Anybody got the link to that page? Bobby Crypto, you put on their face is really incredible in detail. We can all check it out. That's what it was, Ian. You're right. Travis Walton. That just came to me just when you said, there you go. And said that part of the movie was not as good a depiction of what happened to him. The best video on him was a paranormal witness. Well, yeah, I mean, even the movie itself, though, I mean, it was just creepy as hell, right? I mean, you see what this guy went through, just that alone, you're going, Phew. I mean, and I think if I'm not mistaken, it had the big bulbous eyes and these aliens and stuff like that. And they're basically just like cutting them open and everything else. And whew. Oh, okay. Is that what you put in there? Travis does a great lecture. I haven't heard any of them, but of course I haven't really looked, right? Peter Moore. Hey, mate. Great to see you alive. I'm an Aussie living in New Zealand and love your videos. I wouldn't waste any more here. Yeah. With the other party. Yeah. I don't. Guys, I've moved on about that crap. I'm just back. Don't even bother anymore. Too much time. Life's too short. Don't have enough time for it. So, wouldn't we more likely encounter a robot rather than a life form on a UFO due to the vast distance and time it would take to get there and get here rather? Deeper look asked that question. I don't know. It depends on the technology, right? Because if they got it down pat, you don't have to worry about any of that. You don't have to worry about any kind of G-force. You don't have to worry about gravity or anything like that. They've got it to the point where they've been doing it for thousands of years, and it's not even a big deal for them, On the other side of the token, if it's kind of new to them, that's a good possibility. Why not? Kind of sound like a hybrid human being or something like that, or something along them lines. Sure. Daniel Webster, you put on there, I was watching some documentary, and do you know that Travis Walton believed that the craft killed him, and that's why they took him to bring him back to life? Huh. No, I didn't know that. I know that it was him and two others, wasn't it? And the other one's kind of freaked out, but he was the one that, I guess, walked over to it, and of course, he got abducted and everything else. Real tough. Yeah, you're right. Nudging the asteroid is a much smarter idea. And to me, that makes sense, because they're talking about the movie, I think they even mentioned here, Armageddon, where they try to blast this thing to pieces. And of course, they're afraid there's big chunks of it. It's not going to, if you blow this thing to oblivion and there's a lot more pieces, you got a lot more chance of taking life out in many parts of the earth as opposed to one. Of course, it also depends on how big it is, right? Because it'd basically be a planet killer anyway if it's too large. So yeah. Travis Walton didn't get cut open. There were a lot of videos here on YouTube where he tells about it all rather. Many of them being more than an hour, well worth watching. Yeah, I have to check it out because I know, or at least the way it showed. No, that's what it was. It was the actual skin. Remember the skin they had over his head? They literally cut open so he could breathe, and but they were doing all kinds of experiments on him and stuff like that. It was like crazy. Christy, you put on there. He will talk to you personally if you want. Really nice guy, and I have gone up there to talk to Travis twice, but he will not talk to you to the actual. Oh, he will not take you. I'm sorry, to the actual spot, which sucks. Well, I mean, the guy's freaked out. I mean, I can only imagine. He's just. I'm sure that's the last place he wanted to go to. James Cragen. Hi, Chris. Just checking in with you, man. Well, I appreciate you being here, man. Always good to see you. Just move this aside here a minute. Hush Whisperer, you put on there, does anyone know why all the telescopes on the planet are currently pointing west? And did you know that since last year, our planet has sent up over 200 rockets into space, don't you think? Well, I mean, I don't know if I haven't really checked myself, but we got all kinds of missions going to the ISS supplies, with other missions going out into space. Yeah, I mean, there's quite a bit, and I think there's a lot of stuff we don't know any missions what's going on, right? Again, we're all left in the dark, and it's hard to tell what the hell they're doing. I think they're still gonna. I think they got a base to this day, or right now as we speak, on the moon, and they're just going back and forth. They're not going to say they're going to the moon. They're just, well, whatever. We're just sending this rocket up. We're just testing it. And how many people are actually literally tracking this thing? Nobody. I mean, unless you know exactly where it's coming from, meaning where it's lifting off, going out into space, and you can track it with a good sized telescope, you're not going to know. You ain't going to have a clue. That would be something, though, if somebody can actually do that. See a rocket take off and you see it go right towards the moon and literally film it through a telescope. That would be pretty neat. Yeah, this thing is. Uh, and you put no Travis Walton had 7 witnesses. Yeah, but I thought he was one of 3 in the truck at the time, though. I don't know if there was others around, but I think it was just them 3 because they were on a job or something, right? Wasn't it? Ollie, that's interesting. My dad was in the Air Force station at Edwards Air Force Base. Mom was in the hospital. Nana flew out from Pennsylvania to watch us. We got abducted at dusk. Had sunburns in the morning. Yeah, that is pretty wild. Now a lot of people claim that when they were abducted, they came back and looked like they're all burnt and everything else, and had these probably from being abducted from whatever this beam of light like Travis Walton went through. You see, at least in the movie, it predicted it showed where it come down and it just took them up. So it's hard to tell what that thing would do to you as far as skin wise, and not to mention any kind of experiments they might have done. Right? I don't know. Renee, you put on there Travis Walton stabbed an extraterrestrial aliens with scalpels he found on the operating table. Yep, I remember that. Then found himself traversing the stars, sitting down cockpit with a joystick in an interstellar outer space. Huh. Mort Piat, you put. I thought there were 5 or 6 in the truck. No, I'm almost positive it's just the 3 of them in the cab. It was just a pickup truck. Now I could be wrong. It's been a while since I've seen the movie, right? Daniel Webster, he's an excellent guy. I'm not so sure that he's right about the craft killing him because the way he described it, the alien scared the crap out of him. Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, you think? And that's the reason, like I said, I mean, the guy's like, there's no way this guy's going to want to go back to that area either, um, which is crazy because, if you think about it, it's like, um, I was just reading one of these. Yeah, I mean, he's not gonna just a traumatic situation you went through in that area. That would be cool to actually go there, but I don't know. Maybe it's been so long ago, it'd be hard to pinpoint exactly where he's at. That could be right. There are glass domes on the moon. Check out Data's head on web. I've seen that where it's like in that crater and it's got like it looks like the head sitting right there on the ground. Android's head on the moon. Richard Hoagland. I've seen that photo. Yeah, it's pretty wild. Yeah, see, I'm going to do that. I'm going to check out Travis Walton's lectures. Robert Morgan wasn't the movie Fire on the Mountain. No, it was like I said, Fire in the Sky. I think it was. Anybody else weigh in on that? What was the name of the movie? Yeah, that's what I thought it was more. Yeah, Fire in the Sky, I think. But okay, Travis won't show the public because he doesn't want it to be a tourist attraction. It's sacred to Travis, and he has visited the site quite a bit. Yeah, that must be freaky to have to go back to that. I mean, think about that. Because I mean, it's like I'm sure in the back of his mind he's thinking, "Will it happen again?" I mean, and if you go by what at least in the movie, right? Um, if you go back to that and watch that, you go, "Yeah, I surely wouldn't want to go through that again." Right, Holly? Yeah, they told the truth back then. No one would even speak about aliens or spoke about aliens. True. Because then, of course, you'd be laughed out of, now you could say it now and people don't really laugh about it. I mean, they might go, okay, be a little weary about it, but it's not even, it's like people have been desensitized now to it because they've heard so much of it. Because it's not the first people that's ever been abducted, right? Yeah, you're right about that, Zappa. When all are chipped and you can track your kin like a phone, that might f things up. Might f up the abductions and kidnappings, right? Well, unless of course when you're on there, just the signal can't get out and you're kind of screwed there. But because that would be kind of weird. And not to mention, if they do fly away with you, then clearly you won't be able to be tracked. But that would be something interesting. That would be interesting. Yeah, the story is they've had a base on the moon since 1979. Yeah, 1979. I believe there's been many, but missions, the vast majority of them secret. Oh, yeah. I mean, like I said, just because they stopped on the Apollo missions, they knew they could get there, right? So, again, to me, it would make sense that they go, okay, let's improve the craft that we got to the moon with and propulsion, whatever it may be. And then now we know how to get it. We can better ourselves over and over and over again. So, think about that a minute. Wouldn't it make sense that they wouldn't even stop? It just makes sense to me. And that kind of year wouldn't surprise me that okay, they got it down, they perfected it since 1969, 71, because where the Apollo missions were. They fell in those years, and okay, now they had time to perfect them, and then they just made a base. How do we know? Think about it. Makes sense. Hatchet Man, appreciate the support, sir. Chris, as always, love your work, and I look forward to every video and hangout. Well, I appreciate that. I love this. I love just getting together with everybody anyway. It's pretty cool. And, just to have everybody with their mindset and everybody's kind of the same, right? This is why we're all here. And, to throw around ideas and what's going on. And, it's just cool to be a part of this with you guys, Now, this is an interesting question, Holly, put on there about Tyler. Now, I went to his page, man. That people are brutal. Man, they're tearing him to pieces. This is what I've seen on there. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but Tyler wrote on August 20th, sad sigh, and I quote, sad sigh, from the angry, hateful, and smug comments to the genuinely worried and confused viewer discussions currently building in the comments of my videos and various social media. It looks like I'm going to have to post a video specifically addressing my disappearance. So to me, I find it interesting. I mean, people are ripping this guy a new one. Um, I guess it depends on how you look at it. To me, guys, to be honest with you, I've always seen him going, man, this guy is an insomniac. He'll make 2 or 3 videos a day easily. And I've always said, how does he do that? Because, the content, and then you have to, edit the video, so on and so forth. I said, that can't be good. That's eventually going to catch up to him. Now, I'm not saying anything happened to him because clearly he's writing on social media, right? Maybe the guy just needs a break. I mean, just needs a break. So, and a lot of people are just like, now if they supported his channel and he's just no longer, he just disappeared, not saying anything to anybody. I can understand the frustration, but man, they're beating this kid up bad. And I don't think that's right. Yeah. Yeah. Funky Blue. Yeah. That's the same guy. Yeah. Tyler. And to me, like I said, this guy's been pumping out videos, pumping them out. I said, it's hard to keep up with that many videos a day. It really is. And I can't even imagine, that'll wear you out in a hurry. So to me, it just seems like this is the reason why I don't do a ton of them. Of course, I do work during the day, and I don't believe he was. I think it was just his sole income was that. And, I mean, the kid does good work. Now, whether you believe him or not is immaterial. The point is, to me, it's like a lot of people consider just entertainment, and they watch it. I think the kid was doing a great job. So I think at some point, they just need to back off. My God. And they're brutal on this kid. I think he'll be back. I don't know how well. Some people said something about he had depression or something like that. I don't know all that. I'm not going to say yay or nay on that because I don't know him personally, and I'm not going to say anything about that. To me, it just makes a lot of sense that maybe he just needs some space. He needs some time alone. But of course he should. I think the biggest complaint is that he's not saying anything to anybody. That's the only thing I think most people are complaining about. At least that's what I gathered from his social site as well as YouTube itself. So, hopefully the kid comes back. I mean, he's doing some good work. And you're right there, Shep. You're right. Tyler made a lot of money off of his subs. It's no wonder they are upset. And I totally agree. Again, but here's the thing though, you get people so accustomed to seeing this many videos. If he was to drop down, and in fact, somebody broke it down where they said, from this year he did this many videos. From this year he did this many videos. I guess people got a lot of time on their hands, but so he's been making less and less. Well, excuse me. To me, it makes no sense. I wouldn't have done that many, only because again, it takes a lot of work, guys. My God, yeah. I just think it can play a role on you, man. It can really wear you out. And I think, at some point, somebody's going to break away, man. You can just get away from this stuff for a while, take a good vacation, but just let yourself know that. Say, guys, listen, man, I'm going to slow down in these videos. Just want to let you know, whatever the reason is. I've seen people do these videos, and I'll tell you what, because they're in the video so much, that they do them like night and day. And all of a sudden, they don't realize their health is going bad. And they didn't realize it. But then all of a sudden, they got major problems, and that's bad. And yeah. So, hopefully the kid comes back. He's doing good work. Whether you believe his work or not is immaterial. The whole point is that, he's doing the work. But like I said, I think most of the argument or the complaints is that he's just not letting anybody know. So I think the sooner he does, the better it'll help all of his subs. And, they might overlook it. Of course, some of them are angry. Whoosh, brutal. Yeah, he had some very interesting videos. You're right. That's true too, Holly. Yeah, perhaps in 20 years he will be notable as a ufologist. Well, I mean, the work will, like I said, the people will come and go, but the work will stay as long as YouTube does. And that's it. Will a lot of these, like my own videos, will they be confirmed in years to come? Who knows, right? If they ever decide to divulge it to the public, who knows, right? Uh, Hopster, he has been taken down. The content started getting diluted. Well, I mean, he's really not down per se, right? Because the site's still there. At least his channel on YouTube, and he's got Twitter and all that other stuff. And I mean, I'm not going to make any speculation about what's going on. I mean, the guy just maybe just worn out. I mean, just flat out, just say, man, whew, he just needs a breather. Uh, and then like I said, some of these people will rip him up and down. I'm going, wait a minute. So let me get this right. You supported the hell out of him, and all of a sudden you just rip him a new one. And again, if he was just to get on there and say, guys, I'm just sorry, whatever the reason is, just be straightforward with everybody and just say, listen, this is the reason why I haven't been on. I hope you guys can forgive me. I'm going to be back on. I just need a little bit of time, whatever, and I think that's the only complaint is that's what they want to hear. And you can understand why, right? Man, sometimes you need a break. People, come on, you just have to take a mental break every now and then. And that's true, Hatchet Man. You're absolutely right. That's a lot of darn work. I mean, you're talking 2 to 3. I've seen them do 2, sometimes 3 a day. Keep in mind, got to get the content, edit it. And if you're talking through it, obviously got to do commentary, upload it, so on and so forth. That's 3 a day. Now, it doesn't sound like a whole lot if you're good at it. You're very proficient. You can just kind of right through it and you have a good day. But man, it's still a lot of freaking work every single day of the week, month, year. I mean, it's a lot. Philip Wethington, you put on there, I think that he needed a break. I am still subscribed to him. I hope he comes back. I know it's a lot of work to put it all together. It is. And I can't, and hell, I'm only doing 2 or 3 a week. You know what I mean? So, but I do work again. I work 6 days a week. So I'm doing my thing, and then I'm trying to put these together for you guys as well. I'm hoping it actually gets a little bit better, so I can actually have more time, which I think it's coming around the corner where I'll be able to do a little bit more videos for you guys, and so get more of this out for you guys. Michael Starkey put on, whoever works in space Black Ops is required to wipe their memory. Even B Laser stated rather. That's why he quit. He'd remember going and leaving work, but nothing else, and that wouldn't surprise me. You know what I mean? That it's kind of like Area 51. Like I said, my brother was in the Air Force down in Myrtle Beach, and they asked him one time, do you want to go work for Area 51? Well, he did some research. He said, no. I said, why would you say no? Why would you? He was a mechanic. He worked on the A-10 Warthogs, all of the jets back in the day. And I'm saying to myself, why would you do that? I said, man, before he even finished the sentence, all he had to do was say area. I said, yes. He said, the reason why? And I don't know. I'm sure there's more to it than that. But he said, the reason why? He says, the Area 51 has the highest divorce rates going. I said, so what does that mean? He said, well, you're not allowed to discuss anything with your wife, family, friends, nothing. I said, okay. That means what? I would have said, hey, honey, how was your day? That was good. Or I had an argument with a guy at work, and but what about your work? Well, it's just work. Leave it at that. But then again, would you be able to hold in what you see there? In other words, if you're working on part where it's cloning spacecraft, or if it's doing this, would you be able to keep it to yourself? Maybe that's the biggest thing. And maybe some of these people just lose it and it just can't, maintain quiet, or silence about it. B. Baker, your asteroid video was amazing. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Holly Noel, you put on there, I want to do a video, and it is so time consuming. I gave up. How do you do it? Well, I mean, again, you got to look for the actual, photo. And here's the thing. You don't just go eeny, meeny, miny, mo. You might be looking at a ton of these photos. And like I said, if there's nothing in there, if there's nothing of any value, just toss it aside. It's not worth it. I'm not going to waste your time, and I'm not going to waste mine. So you go through these, nothing. Okay, this one here seems to have, oh, wow, there is something in here. Well, you get the photo, download it, put it into Photoshop, bring out these anomalies the best you can. And then, of course, do some commentary about it, edit it, upload it, put it on. So there's a bit of work to it. And if you're doing 2 to 3 of these a day, man, Ian, you put on there, of course, Tyler needs a damn break. It's his life. Absolutely. And most people don't understand that. They just think, oh, I'll just bash his ass. And it's like, no, don't do that. Maybe those haters should get a life on their own instead of worrying about what he's doing. Anybody who supported his channel, he owes them nothing. Well, the thing is, I mean, yeah, especially, this is the way I look at it. Let's suppose for a moment you gave him $50 on a regular basis or $20 on a regular basis, which is fine. I support any channel that wants to do it. They're doing the work. You want to support them? Awesome. You should. And here's the thing. He's whacking these things out 2 to 3 a day. Isn't that enough? If you're doing only 2 videos a day, that's 60 videos a friggin' month. That's not enough for a $20 bill. To me, that's entertainment, and to me, that's more than enough, right? Simple. His wife said, "Tyler, get off the PC." Zappa, yeah, and she may listen again. It can play havoc with your physical and mental being. It's a lot of work, right? Lucky Mo. Maybe Tyler had a major computer meltdown, or hack job. That could very well be too. I mean, his channel's still there, so I mean, it's not like it's been shut down, right? Um, I just think the poor kid needed a break. To be truthful with you. Misheard you put on a B. Baker agreed, and then you put everyone. What do you believe are in those asteroids that Chris touched on? Good question. Everybody can weigh in that, you know. Hatcherman, you put on there. I love that your channel is not a job, Chris. You do really good, great work, and it seems like you enjoy it. Don't change a thing. No, not at all. Sorry, guys. It's funny because it's like when you talk a lot, it's like your throat literally dries out. Um, so yeah, that's why you get water, right? Anyway, yeah, Hadgerman, yeah, definitely appreciate the kind words and everything, man. Yeah, I mean, it's something I like to do. To me, it's a hobby, right? But if I found that my health was failing because of it and stuff like that, I'd have to walk away from it. You know what I mean? Because I've found that, believe it or not. I mean, you don't realize that you're sitting there doing these videos. All of a sudden, let me just get on the scale, and you gained a couple of lbs. You know, you're just going, oh Christ, you know what I mean? And you don't realize it. So you have to live your life first, and then do this as a hobby if that's what you want to do. Now, if you actually do these on a normal basis, well, it's kind of your job now, right? Because it's something that brings you income, meaning on a regular basis. So, but yeah, you got to be very careful, man. This stuff creep up on you. Next thing you know, you have bad health and everything else, right? Are we are we talking about time or are used to be a subscriber to him and he made good money doing that and selling his stuff? Kudos to him for being able to do that. Yes, he needs to tell his subs something. Well, that's the only thing I think is the biggest complaint, right, Daniel? And they're just saying, man, just tell us something. Let us know something. That's all we ask. So, and he'll have to do that if he wants to maintain his subs and stuff like that, because I don't know why some people are getting angry about it. To me, it just makes no sense. But, depending on, maybe some people were doing a monthly and they were doing a large amount. Who knows? To just try to support the kid, right? Now you get like X amount of, millions of people. That's a lot of money. But that's why you got to make it, clear to your subs. I mean, I think he at least owes them that. Now, for whatever reason is, that's his business. And if he needs a break, then he should take it. Also, YouTube has been demonetizing those types rather of videos, so he's probably had a big cut in money. Well, and that may be true. I don't know whether that's true or not, at least for his channel. To me, it just seems like, to me, it would make more sense if you're making decent money on it, right? You live within your means. In other words, don't live a champagne lifestyle on a bare budget, right? So, if you're making good money, you live, decent, modest, nothing special, and just bank it away. If you want to retire on it or whatever you want to do, just bank it away and whatever, and just use your smarts with it. But if you're living, and I don't know that he is, I'm just saying, I'm just claiming it. But if you're living high on the hog on X amount of money, and then all of a sudden it gets cut, yeah, that could be a huge blow to people. You know what I'm saying? Rob Layton, you put on there. Hi, Chris. Rob from the UK, relatively new to your videos, but have been interested in this stuff since I was a kid. Love your amazing and no nonsense approach. Look forward to more videos. Well, appreciate you coming here, man. If you like you said, newly subbed, I don't know if you're subbed, but welcome aboard. Appreciate you coming in, man. Yeah, I mean, you got to just tell it like it is, right? You can't beat around the bush. Now, some people will say, what I'm seeing is not the real deal. But like I said, I tell people straight out, listen, this is what I brought out of the photo. I encourage everybody to grab the photo themselves, look it over themselves. You can grab yourself one of these, magnifiers, some of these little eye loops you can get, the jeweler eye loops. You can get those. Look the stuff over yourself. Make your own decision. I'm not here to hammer it into you. Look at it for yourself and see if there's anything. This is the reason why I leave the links in my comment section. Right at the very top of the comment section, I got a pin post that I'll describe the video, and then all the links will be in that in that comment. Right, you just click on it. It says more, view more, or whatever it says. Click on it, drops down. Like my last video, I got like 8 links to that bad boy with the asteroids and stuff. And I encourage everybody to look at it, judge it for yourself. That's all I say. Because again, I'm learning about a lot of these things. Sometimes I don't, when I see these things, I just go, I don't expect to see anything there in that photo. And then I do. And I just go, what the hell is that? And of course, I want to, I'm just happy to make the videos and bring them to you guys, right? James Krieg and Chris, I have noticed that since you have been showing us great videos of the moon and Mars, a lot more videos are being released online about the same. I think you have shaken a tree, man. Well, here's the thing. I love the idea of more and more people getting into this because, like I said, there's people like before me that was doing videos. They phased out or they quit, maybe passed on, whatever the reason is. And the same thing will happen to me eventually. And that's what my hope is that more and more people start getting on board and checking these things out because it has to be constantly researched because I think people need to know this stuff. I think they need to see the truth. That's the way I feel about it, right? Daniel, you put, yeah, Chris, I think if you decided to stop doing it, it would be kind of research would take a major blow. Well, I mean, again, there's a lot more other people doing this as well, right? I don't think people are doing it in depth like I am as far as the way I go about it, my technique and try to bring the stuff out. I think a lot of people just look over the photo and say, well, this rock looks a little funky. So therefore I'm going to, make a video on it. And there's nothing wrong with that because there's a lot of stuff that's doesn't make sense. They're shaped in a way that it shouldn't be. Right. So, but I see things in a different way. I see these things. I see these objects right there behind, manipulation, obfuscations. And I see these things. I'm going, there's something there. I want to pull it out of there. And that's what I do. And that's why I make the videos because there's a lot more in these videos and there's a lot more in these photos rather than meets the eye. And I always say that, right? Deeper look. Most actors take the summer off and we live with the dreaded reruns all summer. Yeah, Tyler deserves a break. Yeah, I mean, how many freaking videos does this guy have? And just kick back, watch a couple of his videos, and get tons of them. Sit back, watch them, and then when he comes back, you guys will be good to go. That's the way I look at it. Hatcher Man, I hear a lot of channels complaining about the funds they are making on YouTube, and I don't really care. That's why I love your channel, Chris. It's not a job for you; it's a hobby. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I look at it this way. And I've always said this. Listen, I monetize my videos. It's not a secret. You can click on it and see that, right? And like I said, it helps me get better computer equipment. It helps me get better stuff. To improve the videos, so on and so forth. So it supports the channel that way. And who knows what I'll do in the future? Maybe I'll expand what I'm doing here, and I'm going to actually. I got some ideas I want to do, and so it helps. It helps any channel. So and if people, I look at it this way: if people are happy what they're seeing, then if you want to support the channel, you should. But I don't go, darn it, you better do it. No, 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 no. That's not what it's all about. I support a couple of channels and I do the same. I go, just love the content I'm seeing. So yeah, I'll give them a little something, something. It helps them out. And, so that's the way I look at it. That's just me though. But I don't think I'd use it as a sole income only because how many times have you heard, like I said, people getting demonetized or it's not as much as it used to be. So now, you're banking on this a certain amount of income and all of a sudden it just drops right off. What do you do then? Well, I hope you don't have a house payment, a car payment. You're in a world of hurt. Pups you put on there not easy to post to you. Longer questions just don't get through. Yeah, I mean, you only got, like I said, 200 characters, which means basically if you put the word, moon, well, there's 4 characters right there. So you got to be just kind of compress the idea, compress the comment if you can. Well, let's see. Um, Amio Basoff, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Forgive me if I'm not. 3 you put on there. Do you remember the hieroglyphs video? There are probably thousands of them. There are pointers and advertising boards to the Martians. Yeah, that is. I mean, I've seen some weird things. In fact, I've got one of the subs had submitted a photo, a Martian photo of what looks like hieroglyphs back up in a rock and some other smaller rocks that look a little weird. And I'll be covering that pretty soon too. That's pretty good. And so we'll be doing that one shortly as well. We're making that one. Yeah, Holly. Yeah, Miss Heard just told you a couple channels. Our Alien TV, the real Jimmy Roberts, and Alien Hunter. Yeah, they all do fantastic work. Check them channels out. I think you'll be happy you did. Starman7, hello Chris. Thanks for the good work you do. Well, I appreciate you, man. We try our best. Right, right. Although they are a minority, we've been even well. There's been head scientists come over and look at some of the pictures, and they believe that Mars has at least plant life based on tree-like objects. Well, yeah, I mean, you can see this, and I think a lot of this stuff, when it looks like a manipulation, could be like growth over these objects. Could very well be. Now, if we were to take like NASA does, or JPL, whoever it is that's doing the actual CGIing and doing this, if they take the color and throw it all over everything, again, you don't see any individuality, at least color wise. All you see is this kind of reddish pukey color. And so everything blends in. That's why it looks like the way it does. And you can't make heads or tails out of any of it. But if you were to take off the crappy color, all of a sudden these other colors start to pop a little bit, makes it a little bit better to the eyes. And then you can pull these things out. And some of these things are amazing that come out of these photos. And I strongly believe they're there looking at a civilization that was there at one time and somehow got a major hit, no matter how it did it, some catastrophe, and that's what they're there observing. That's what they're there going through, taking photos, thousands of photos. We're only seeing the photos that they're showing us. How do we know there's not many, many more? We have no idea. We don't have a clue. And I think that's what the problem is. I think there's a lot more going on, and they're seeing a lot more than we're ever being told. And I can't even, like I said, I can't even imagine what these photos look that they're completely untouched. I bet it's mind-boggling. You're right about that. Yeah, Holly. Yeah, I love to edit to get the clearest image I can. And yeah, you try to do the best you can and get through the garbage that they've overlaid over it, or at least touched it up or whatever. And it's tough to do that sometimes. But yeah, you can do it. Uh, Emma Gogna 68. Hi, Chris. Do you have any new videos coming out from Mars? I really enjoy the work that you do. I do, in fact. Like I said, I've got one that's a sub just sent to me, and he shows like a couple small pieces in this one photo. One of them looks like hieroglyphs way up in the back on this rock, and has some interesting little, shaped rocks. And they may be nothing, but they may also actually be something. I haven't gotten into the photo yet. I'm going to check that out, and that one there will be coming up soon as well. Paulo de Silva about the photos is like we all do. We have many and only post the best of or some. Yeah, true. Yep. Kenneth Proctor, Chris, did you ever see TV show Salvage One? Andy Griffith built a ship to salvage junk on the moon. No, I don't think I've ever seen that. That must go way back. Holly, you can actually do a blur on that. If you do a slight blur, you can get rid of that. And there's another one too. I forget what the name of it is off the top of my head here. You can actually there's a noise button. You can denoise it and actually get rid of that grid pattern on there too. Because you put on there. Did you notice how the Curiosity rover images now have that screen layover? How do you get rid of that? Usually, you can put a little bit of blur in there, slight blur, and it'll get rid of some of that. Although it makes you wonder why they put that on there, right? You get this weird looks like exactly what it looks like. It looks like they're looking through a screen, like a screen door, and they're looking at this whatever's out there, right? It's kind of weird. Why would they do that? Is the most comprehensive channel about this subject. Yep. Well, like I said, I mean, I took a whole different approach to this too. Like I said, I see people just looking at just what they see in the photo, but I seen a long time ago, I seen something in these photos that didn't make any sense. Well, like I said, you could see the shapes, see these weird lines, but you couldn't see the actual whatever it was. And I went, why is that? Unless they're throwing over the texture from the ground onto this object, but all you see is the outside lines of it. You don't see the actual item. Like I said, I always use the term it's been ghosted out, like Casper. You see Casper, what is it? He's like so much percentage that he's transparent. Like he may be 50 or 70% transparent, or even somewhere around 50, 70, whatever it may be, but you can still see through them. But yeah, you see the outline of them more better, right? A lot better. So it makes sense that calling that, saying ghosted out, it makes sense to say that. At least in my book, it does, right? Phil Cox. Yeah, I like to share what I capture, film some weird and wonderful things. Oh yeah, most definitely. Walls, foundation, structures, helmets, ships, crash sites. There's so much on Mars. That and on the moon too, Holly. There's some crazy things on there. I've seen things that look like ships. I mean, literally, like they just either crashed there or just laid there and just couldn't get back off the moon. I don't know. It's just weird to see some of them. I had one of them. It was on a cradle wall, sitting like this here, and you could just see the thing just sitting right on the wall. It made no sense. It's like, what the hell's that thing just sitting there for? What this thing is, what it is and why it's there is beyond me, but it was there. You can pull it out of the photo. Let me see. Paulo de Silva, disclosure. Keep up with your good work, mate. Well, I appreciate that. Oh, yeah. Keep pressing on. Rolando Alves, well, I have to go. Tomorrow, work day. Good night and God bless. God bless you too, man. Thanks for stopping in. Have yourself a good week there, right? Yeah, I'm not sure what you guys are talking about. This, what do you say? Some kind of the turkey, the country, the UFO is great. I'm not sure what that is. Anybody's got the link? Yeah, drop the link. Yeah, that turkey UFO with Grays in the cockpit hovering over the lake and the moon lake is crazy. The fisherman got hours of footage 2 nights in a row. Damn. Sky Team Galaxy, Chris, do you think that we are coming from, I guess you say we came from Mars in the past? That's a possibility. It's either we came from there to begin with, or somehow like, we were existing on both planets, meaning Earth and Mars at the same time. It's hard to tell, right? It's pure speculation because we don't know. And there's no way of knowing that unless, of course, there was something written down, right? so we can actually read that and figure it out. Um, the I believe it's a possibility that we might have come from Mars first and then made our way here, knowing that there was a catastrophic event ready to happen. Maybe they knew it was coming, right? And if they didn't, that would give the idea. Like I said, we were living on two planets, and of course that got decimated somehow, and now we're just here on Earth, or we were originally from Mars, like I said, and then we just kind of jumped over to this planet. It's hard to tell. Um, I'd be interested to find out actually really what happened, and I'm sure somewhere somehow it's written down somewhere, right? Yeah, Zappa. Yeah, the Vedas. Yeah, they got some a lot of interesting stuff in those. Pretty good stuff. 786 Auto. Appreciate you, sir. Thanks for the support. Hi, Chris. Glad to see you in there, man. Haven't seen you. You just stop in just now. You just get in there. Usually you're in there early. Dr. Lair Turkey video. Huh. I have to look that up. Again, 786 Auto. Appreciate you, man. Kenneth, appreciate you, man. I like that. My last $5. Don't worry, I get paid tomorrow. Oh, that's good. I appreciate your support, man. Hmm. That UFO in Turkey hovering over the lake at night and footage a bit blurry shows Gray standing on a portal looking out of the craft. It just hovers over the lake. Friends claim it is genuine. Wow. Yeah, I'll definitely have to check that out. Like I said, anybody got the link, go ahead and drop it. I never understood as to why there is never any credible UFOs about and why have stealth, but it's not perfect. Well, I mean that's the thing, right? I think a lot of people complain about that. They go, well, why? Because some of them are coming out with bogus CGI videos, right? And you can almost plainly see that, and some of them not so much. So that's what you got to determine. You got to determine which one's fake, which one's the real deal, and you know how that goes, And so that's why a lot of these channels get trashed in there because you don't know whether it's real UFO or if they're being CGI'd. It's hard to tell, unless of course it's and you would think in this day and age with all the phones people got, they got the little tiny little telescopes you can put on the phone. You'd think they get pretty darn crystal clear photos or videos, and yet we're not seeing many of those. So kind of makes you wonder. And then if it is crystal clear, then right off the bat, people are fake because it's that clear. But you can usually tell a CGI'd object most of the time in these videos or photos, right? But that's what you got to determine which one's the real deal and which one's not. I've seen Mars photos that appear to have human figures, i.e., crab man. Is it possible there are living things still crawling around up there? I believe there are. I believe there's still plant growth. I think and if there is, even if there's microbial life, I believe there's microbial life. I think it never died off. It's just picture it right here on this planet. If some wild catastrophic event, maybe a meteor hit, some kind of strike, and it literally kills out the planet, sends it into an ice age. Okay, that doesn't mean everything would just stop living. Microbial, you can bet, will continue on. Heck, they even say cockroaches can live like through a nuclear blast and stuff, right? So it makes you wonder, is it possible that these things would still live? I think so. And I think there's still life on that planet. I think there's still growth on that planet. I think there's a lot going on there. And I'm not saying all over the planet, just in certain spots. And I think a lot of it might be due to the magnetic field. It's only in spots of Mars. It's not on the whole planet like we have here on Earth, protecting us from the sun's radiation. There's only certain spots of Mars that actually has this magnetic field, and it protects that. Well, you can almost bet that's where we're going to send any people that go to Mars in those areas to protect them from the sun's harmful rays and radiation. And that's where you will probably find the life forms, right? Disclosure TV, thank you, sir, for your support. Mars Anomalies needs a show on HBO. That wouldn't be too bad. Like I said, I got some things coming up there. I'm going to try out. I'm going to check out what I can do, and we're going to go from there on there. I got some ideas. I'm going to expand a little bit, so I'm going to try to do what I can to get them kicked off if I can. Well, it takes a bit of time, and you know, to get it all together. Starts off as like, okay, we can do that, and then go from there. We'll have to see what happens. I don't want to see too much right now. That would be awesome. Phil Coxwood, Holly, Noel, some think it was the Glock, the German WW. Well, yeah, World War II, the UFO. And yeah, I mean, they've had, even back in the day, guys, remember that? When they had I'll think of it in a second. The Foo Fighters. Of course, that's where the group got their. I don't know if anybody knew that, but that's where the group actually got their name from. Because back then, even during these wars back in the day, these pilots would see these they call them Foo Fighters. Actually, I think it's four fighters, but that's where they say it's Foo Fighters. And they were basically just orbs of light following these planes and everything else, and even back in the day. So, who had the technology to come up with those back in the day? Chances are they didn't, and this is the reason why. There's been UFOs since the dawn of time, and now people are starting to see more and more of them. I just wish we'd see a lot clearer, right? James Cregan, Chris, man, if you look at all of the comments from this week's Hangout, you will see it appears your great work and effort is appreciated. Well, like I said, I appreciate everybody being here, and I love the idea that everybody's here. Like I said, you guys wouldn't be here if you didn't have the same kind of mindset, right? And that's the way I am. I'm attracted to other channels just like what I do because I find it interesting, and I love to see what other researchers find as well. I'm not just like, ooh, it's all about me. No, I want to see other stuff too. I like to see other stuff that people are finding because, again, isn't it about getting the truth out? So as many people want to do this, knock yourselves out, man. Get it out. That's what I say. Get the information out. It's about the public because we're not being told. The public itself is not being told about the truth. So as more people do this, the better it is for everyone, right? That's the way I look at it. What is the best email to send your stuff? It would be marsanomalies at AOL.com, Pupster. Just make sure you leave like something in the subject box, let me know what and because a lot of it, it's just garbage mail and you don't want to get into all that. Just the stuff that, from you guys is, what I look for, Sky Team Galaxy. I think the Earth is an experiment from another high intelligence, live in another galaxy or something else. What do you think? Well, I've heard somebody say this before. They said, we're like a giant ant farm, right? And these other beings may be actually looking down and seeing how we evolve, how we change, the good, the bad, and whatever. And then when we go to start doing any kind of nuclear war, what happens? You've seen UFOs over these silos, boom, shut everything down. So it just makes you wonder, are they going, no, kids, behave yourself kind of attitude? And that may very well be what it is. So, yeah, I think that's interesting that we may be viewed like that. What do you guys think? Teresa Middleton, you put it's all eerie, like looking into the past or into the future. I mean, ours. I hope I am wrong. With all going on, nothing would surprise me. Warning. Nice work and good job. Thank you, Teresa. Yeah, I mean, and I think it may be because a lot of people have said this, and I've thought this myself, that when they go to Mars and they see the devastation there, they might be saying, okay, what killed this planet off? Are we in for the same kind of, treatment, or are we going to end the same way? Is it, so I think it's something that they want to know. But of course they might be there just raping all the technology and everything that's up there too, and just finding everything they can. So, and if they can, think about it. They got this, the turret with the tools on it. They can just flip these things over if they're light, and they can, drill into it, hit it with the laser, see what kind of material it's made out of, so on and so forth. And that's what it's all about. To try to find it, because we're not there, they're trying to give these rovers the most tools that they can. The new rover, by the way, is going to have its own toolkit, they said. And what it is they're going to have an assortment of drill bits. So this thing will be able to interchange. Think about it. Why do you need different drill bits? Some people may say, well, maybe just softer rock, harder rock. Well, if you got something that's like a titanium bit or a real good carbide blade or diamond tip or whatever it may be, wouldn't that pretty much cut through any rock? At least pretty darn close. But they're going to have an assortment of different drills. So is it possible to drill into steel? Wood? Of course, you think again, one drill bit would do it all, right? But yeah, it's kind of interesting. They're setting this thing up with some different tools and some different, like I said, it's got its own toolkit. It's going to have like little tubes that's going to put all of this sand in. They're going to find like certain areas. They're going to have this thing draw up this dirt, put it into these little vials, and then put it in the underbelly of the rover. And then they said at some point they're just going to drop them onto the surface. I'm going, okay, why would you do that? Wouldn't the radiation kind of contaminate what's in the tubes? Well, we're going to leave them there. So when we send, people to Mars, we can actually analyze them. Well, the dirt's not going anywhere, right? So why would you need to do that? In other words, they can go there, take their own samples and go, okay, this is what we got. Doesn't make any sense, does it? Smash that like button, guys. Smash the hell out of it. Metalhead, you put on there, I think the asteroids are constructed. You can see a grid pattern of rebar on both object patches of it. Were you able to see them? Yeah. And like I said, I don't know if you've seen that one that had what looked like that panel, but had like this small design or something on it. And yeah, I mean, it's like, how do you see a panel that straight has a 90-degree angle and has a smoother side on the right, lower right corner? Come on, this is supposed to be a rock, right? Floating out in space. And yet you can see these kind of things on there. How does that make sense to anybody? Even if they went, oh, the video is a bunch of crap. Look at the actual photos yourself. Make your own decisions. For me, I see intelligently made object. I see things that are intelligently made on the object. So whether the whole thing is, basically intelligently made, or it's just the objects on it are intelligently made, either or, there's something going on. It's more than just a simple rock just flying through space at 28,000 miles an hour, right? Come on now. You're right about that, Metalhead. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, Christy. Yes, I am interested. You put on there. Been watching your channel for a couple of years. Love it. I'd like to share my findings on Google Moon with you. I have somewhere around 500 unusual things, including four eyes of Ra. Interesting. Yeah, I would be. I'd like to see it. Like I said, I don't know if you whatever information or photos you want to share at Mars Anomalies at AOL.com. Love to check them out. Only way any kind of disclosure is going to happen is through people, groups, and communities who share findings. Or authorities have so much to lose to allow that info to come from a governmental agency. And I think you're right, Chad Gordon. Yeah, absolutely. And again, it's like if our space agencies let us argue about it, think about it. They'll just be hashing it constantly. No, it's full of crap. No, it's the real deal. No, it's full of crap. No, it's the real deal. They want people who. It's like when I see these things in these photos, right? I always tell people, the stuff is in the photos. 90% of the stuff will be hidden, and then some of it won't be. It's almost like they're leaving a breadcrumb. It's like the people who are interested, really interested, want to see what's on this planet or on the moon, whichever it may be, or other moons or other planets. They will absolutely find it if they look. And it's almost like they're doing that. They're making it say, look, it's in the photo. Dig for it. If you can't dig hard enough, you don't need to know the truth. And I think that's exactly what they're doing. At least that's my opinion. I mean, what do you guys think? Because, I mean, some people have asked me, Chris, why would they go out of their way to block the Don photo and yet have some of these things still exposed? Why would they do that? That may be the actual reason. I think so. It's my feeling that if they did show a video or a picture that was absolute clear and perfect of a UFO, people would call it fake. And you're right, because they're so used to seeing these fuzzy photos. How many times you see like comments, people like totally pissed. Why is it that in this day and age we have nothing but crappy photos of a UFO? And I totally agree. Why is that? You're telling me that people can't just get a good photo and just or a good video of something crystal clear? You would think somebody would have to at some point, and yet most of them are crap. That's why a lot of these channels, a lot of them been taken down, or they get dogged a lot because people are saying, well, I think it's CGI'd. And some of the photos they are. I mean, but I don't believe all channels are like that because I think some people are doing some really hard work and they're really showing the real deal. So, I always say kudos to them as far as that. But the channels that are not, yeah. Missouri, you put on there, I believe they supply us with technology that is killing us in our oceans with all of the pollution it produces. Well, I mean, I think you're partially right, but I also think it's just our just ourselves. If you think about it, who invented the cigarette? You know what I mean? Just stuff like that. Oh yeah, it helps you relax. Yeah, but they didn't tell you back in the day that it would kill your ass after so many years. So I think it's our stupidity, and we don't think these things out in the longevity. I don't think we do that. Like all of the trash. Have you seen the third world countries that you see these poor kids actually in computers, like all these scrap computers made from like 1970s and 80s, just junk, and the kids are literally scrapping the copper atoms just so they can get a bowl of rice. Um, so we're not thinking this stuff out. We're just making this stuff and who cares? Just dump it. And they're selling it as they're saying it's reusables. This is the reason how they're passing it off to these other countries. Clearly, it's not. Now they do scavenge stuff out of them, but yeah, I mean, but how do you go about not having the trash we have on this planet? How do you go about not having any kind of pollution? It's tough. It really is a tough call. But I think, like I said, if we end up going to another planet, Mars being the first one, I think what's going to happen is they're going to have everything they've done wrong on this planet. They're going to try not to do again. That's just the way I feel. Think about it. They'll take the elite, anybody with a really good genetic makeup. The DNA is pretty pure, so they can have the healthiest people on the planet. They don't want to have, and as far as any kind of like crime, they'd probably be dealt with swiftly. Like they're just like, yeah, we don't even bother putting you in prison. We just shoot you right on the spot and feed the indigenous creatures or something. Who knows, right? We're not gonna have prisons. We're not gonna have any of that. We're just gonna just deal with it swiftly. It's gonna be like basically utopia. I mean, because think about it, if you were to make a constant mistake about something, what are you going to do when you go to the next place to move on? Try not to do any of the mistakes or make any of the mistakes you've done in the past and go forward. And that should be the way, right? So I think that may be the reason or what they're doing. But yeah, I mean, I think a lot of stuff we do is we do to ourselves, and it's our own mindset and our thinking. And you can see a lot of times it's backfired on us, right? Sky Team Galaxy. Why are some photos blurred from NASA? Well, and that's what a lot of people ask. These cameras that are on board, they're able to see high definition photos as well as videos. I don't know how many videos you guys have seen, but I haven't seen any. They might do like a stitch together, like they'll take like the Opportunity rover they had, and I believe they even did the Curiosity, where they put a whole bunch of these photos together and just ran them together in sequence, and it gave you this kind of feeling that it was a video, but it wasn't, right? Like I did one about Opportunity, and everything you could see the blurring, intentional blurring, and some of the objects that were in these photos, crazy. Well, they blur it because, like I said, they want to give you the photo, but they don't want to give you the clarity. So you can't find the stuff instantly in the photos, and they'll do everything they can to trick the eye and everything else. So, yeah, I wish you just come out with a just nice clear photo. That'd be awesome. I believe this. Okay, Metalhead, I have a great picture of that for you. Um, oh, okay. I feel like I have more comprehensive tools in my garage. Might be right. Let me see here. Unable to chat. Connect to chat. Please try back and try again later. Imagine that. Let me see something there. No, saying I just put in there hello. I don't know if anybody else can answer, but let me see if I missed any others. Anyway, yeah, Holly, you're right about that. They treat us like lab animals. Yeah, I mean, again, need to know basis, and you guys don't need to know squat. So there you go, right? You did post it. All right. Where's that? You said you posted that turkey link. See if I can find it. Hmm. Going back there, and I'm not seeing it. Not seeing it. It's weird. Let me see here. Cackbur football. Hello. What's going on? Todd Hamilton, you put on there. I think I'll say hi. Been watching your watching for a couple years. Never said anything. LOL, love your work. Well, I appreciate you just dropping right in there and saying hello. Yeah, I'm not seeing that link, man. I don't know if it's Amio Basov 3. Mars structures are mostly holographic and polarized. They have exoskeleton flying machines with cloaking wings. Many look like insects that create the landscape. Martians do not build structures. Huh. Interesting. I'm not seeing that link. All right, let me see. Michael Stark. Yeah, you put on that. You put your link there. Oh, okay. Let me get this here. The link is on there now. Let me see if I can find it. Make sure it is going through. Smash them like buttons and share, guys. Bang bang. James Cregan says. Let me see something here. This is weird. That's bizarre. I'm actually on my live feed right now, and I can't. It says unable to connect to chat, but yet I can see everything that's going on the other computer. That's bizarre as hell. All right. Divine Caitlin. Hello, Chris. Good to see you live. I appreciate that. Sky Team Galaxy, you wrote, Chris, do you think that we are the aliens? Well, like I said, I think we are. If you think about this, if you go back, like I said, if we look at the destruction done on Mars, and if it had life formed there, I think the planet even formed way before us here on Earth. And if it did, then it had plenty of time to get life on it, evolve, have people on it, at least intelligent beings. And who knows? Like I said, at some point, when it had its destruction and destructive event, we jumped over to here on Earth. And then and then now we're trying to go back home, so to speak, right? We're actually going, so we may be quote unquote the aliens. It's hard to tell, right? All right. Well, I can do that too. Well, see, for some reason on the live feed, it's actually stopped, which is fine. So I'll read them from here. You guys can still hear me, right? Just checking right here. Gorilla Glue 420. Hello, Chris. What's going on, man? Good to have you in there. Yeah, it's weird, Shep. I mean, it's literally stopped. The conversations have stopped here on my live feed, but yet I'm seeing it on my other computer where I'm actually watching my own show. So I literally have to watch your comments here on the other computer because I can't see them on this right here on the live. That's just weird, man. Kathy, you said hi from South Carolina. Where's that around? Around Myrtle Beach. I lived down there in the '80s. From what I hear, it's grown up big time there. So, gotten a lot more, companies, a lot more. Everything's progressed in there down there, pretty good there. All right, let's see. Yeah, 1010 Cray, you said on there, as time goes by, I'm increasingly drawn to Gary McKinnon's approach to disclosure. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much right. I like the way he thinks, actually. Yeah, you're right about that, Paul. Yeah, of course, not as bad as cutting the feed, at least. Yeah, and that's true. So, like I said, I could still, talk with you guys and everything. I know the feed's still working. And like I said, I can see everything everybody's posting on the actual live feed, but I can't see it here on my computer. That's bizarre. Metalhead, yeah, white. YouTube is messing with it. Yeah, but we got work around, don't we? Oh yeah. All right, Greenville in the foothills. All right. Okay. Okay, Christy said, thanks for reading my chat. I have also found what appears to be automated mining operation. I will send some of this to you and see if I get a response. I spent about a year finding this stuff. Cool. Like to check it out. Divine Caitlin, love your show, Chris. Well, I appreciate that, Caitlin. Oh yeah, Zappa. Yeah, yes, Chris. Two PCs going at the same time usually. At a time, I'm sorry. At the same time, usually is a great workaround on a bot attack. Miss Heard's getting out of here. Good seeing you in there, Miss Heard. And you have yourself a good week coming up there, right? Yeah, we don't want to lose the live feed. But anyway, we've been on here for like 2 hours and 35 minutes anyway, so I was about to jump off this thing anyway. But yeah, as usual, guys, let me put this thing back over here. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you guys all being here, and it's always awesome to have good people here. I enjoy this more than anything. I look forward to it because it's literally I learn new things like I didn't know, about Travis Walton that live one he's done. Or he said he's a fine speaker and everything else. I need to watch that. There's a couple other videos that you guys suggested. I do have the links now. We're gonna check those out. So yeah, I mean, it's always like I said, it's a learning curve. We all get to do this, and that's what it's all about. So that's why I enjoy these things so much. But anyway, guys, I'm going to jump on off here. I appreciate everybody being here. So look out for the new videos coming up. Like I said, I got one coming up. A sub had submitted, and they believe what they've seen in here is like a hieroglyphs and some other little weird. Well, if you want to call them strange rocks, right? I don't know if they are or not, but we'll get into the photo a little bit and we'll find out. and I'll pass it along to you guys, right? So, got some moon ones coming up, some Mars, all kinds of good stuff. So you guys can stay tuned for that. But anyway, guys, I appreciate everybody being here and the support. You guys are awesome. And like I said, we'll do this every 5 p.m. Sunday. And like I said, if you guys get suggestions for new shows that you want to see, and we'll see if we can make it happen for you guys, right? That's what it's all about. Giving you guys what you want. Anyway, guys, have yourself a great night. It's good to have you here. And we'll talk soon, right? Anyway, peace.